Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's the first round draft edition of the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated. We are very, very pleased to be part of the Variety Sports Network. Thank you specifically to Brandon. Chatted with him a little bit today, and he's got a great show going right now over on the other side. I think he's got like 6 or 7 guys on. They're just all reacting and having a great time watching the draft and everything, and we'll get you caught up here in just a couple of seconds. And of course, I should also remind you that the show does originate from the Bradshaw Bourbon Studios. Cheers, everyone. Ben will be along shortly. As you know, he's on the left coast, and that means time is a little different out there. It's a little earlier, so he's making changes to his usual routine, and he'll be here. Ian and Scarps are already here, and you'll notice we got a little bit of a new background today. Our guy Aaron, who is here with us almost every week, designed that for us. Really, really nice job, and he does an amazing job with this stuff, the graphic stuff in general. He does all of our stuff, so thank you to him for that. So what we plan to do is, guys, tonight and gals, everybody that's with us tonight, is just kind of cruise through and update you on the draft. You're probably watching it as well as we are. I've got, I look like this will be an old reference for some of you. I look like Ted Koppel on Nightline right now. I have a screen behind me, a screen in front of me. I've got another screen over here going with the draft. So I feel like I'm reporting on the Iran hostage situation like Ted Koppel used to. In any case, guys, any surprises in your opinions, Ian?
Yeah,
we just had one right now.
Whoa, what happened?
Atlanta took Michael Penix Jr. ahead of J.J. McCarthy at number 8.
Oh, my. That is huge.
What just happened? So I was going to say J.J. Latham or J.C. Latham from Alabama going to Tennessee. And then Atlanta, out of nowhere, takes Michael Penix after they sign Kirk Cousins to that huge contract.
What?
Yeah, but so
chime in, Scarps.
JJ McCarthy sucks, but this does not surprise me, and the reason it doesn't surprise me is they're like I don't want to say a cheap deal, but first round pick guaranteed, so they're going to have him for realistically 5 years. Cousins has been injured. He's coming off an Achilles, and I know they spent a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
But realistically, I could see Kirk Cousins only playing maybe a couple more years. So to me, this is like a Jordan Love situation with Green Bay. And I know Penix is older, but he gets to get mentored by Kirk Cousins for a couple years, and then I think that it'll be his team. I don't hate it. They did, sounds to me like they did their homework. They got a new coaching staff.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it.
I agree with you 100%, Ryan. I think number one,
it's a surprise for sure.
It's a huge surprise, huge surprise, and I think that when you look at the fact, I don't care what you think about Kirk Cousins as a quarterback, he's an A+ individual, and he will be awesome for Michael Penix there in Atlanta, just to learn from, both on and off the field. But my God, and as the mighty Clifford just said in the chat there, the more quarterbacks, the better. This is really surprising to see this.
The other, and I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna since Ben isn't here, I'll just be like Ben.
Yeah, you can get in all your talking now.
There hasn't been a trade yet, and the Bears pick is already in. So, I think we expected at least a few trades already.
Yeah.
And the Bears, it's already out there. They're taking Rome Odunze at 9. So, Caleb Williams the Bears look stacked all of a sudden. And I know it's the Bears, but
right.
So that, there's still 11 picks to get. I can't count 11 picks, 10 picks, whatever. But, yeah.
Well, and hello, Aaron. I already gave you a shout out for the spectacular background you created, but you weren't here yet. And it does. It looks great. So thank you very much, Aaron, as always. Yeah, Ian, what's your thoughts on this Penix thing? This is unbelievable.
He's older than Kenny Pickett was, and we joked, and
right.
Maybe perhaps Casey Kasem later in the show will make a reference or two to a former Steelers quarterback. I did not write Casey this week. That's Scarps' job.
Right.
So not like the one time when Scarps was in Atlanta and I had to pinch hit for the writing.
Hey,
Scarps executed that to perfection.
Michael Penix in Atlanta.
Yes.
I was in Atlanta.
That's right.
It's perfect.
There we go. No, this is, I kind of thought Penix's ceiling might be like 13 to Vegas and that was, I think I said in our Slack chat this week, I was like, you never know if someone, parentheses Vegas, might do something crazy, parentheses draft Michael Penix. Like Atlanta in the top 10 is just insane. I like Michael Penix as a quarterback, but I don't know if I would take him with a top 10 pick. I didn't like JJ McCarthy either, but still,
Vikings just went from.
Go ahead, Brian.
Vikings just went from 11 to 10.
Oh, that's got to be for a quarterback.
Swapped with the Jets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's one spot, but. Why would so? Oh man, oh my God, you're gonna take JJ McCarthy 10th overall? Oh my God, this it's wild.
Look, I just going back to the Penix thing real quick. I think he's obviously got some skills. He's obviously got some abilities. The guy was right there at the Heisman, at the very end, and the injury history is what would scare me. But clearly Atlanta, did their homework, as you guys pointed out, and they felt good about it. And hey, they're going to roll the dice there with that. There was a lot of other ways I thought they would have gone there, but more power to them. And the Bears, absolutely, this is a great draft already for the Bears. You get a quarterback, and then you get a number one receiver. You've already got Keenan Allen. You got Moore. They're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing in terms of building your team there. And we'd like to welcome it. Ben has made it in. Look at that. It's just 6:13 on the left coast, and he's here with us already. Ben, you have been missing some crazy stuff already.
Wow, what's going on?
Atlanta drafted Michael Penix
to the Falcons at number 8.
I'm way out of the loop right now. Really, I had no flipping clue.
Yeah.
The Steelers drafted Kenny Pickett again. Ian, honestly, everybody, I'm watching it on the ABC broadcast, but everybody on Twitter's, I don't want. There's no reason to wait.
Well, and by the way, the buddy of mine was texting me, and I've been running around doing this stuff. But they said that Saban has been outstanding on the game day edition, which is not surprising, but it's just kind of cool to hear that he's going to be a part of that this year. So what do we got? We still got the Vikings on the clock. They just moved up to 10.
Yes.
The Jets slide down to 11. What did they pick up for that?
4th and a 5th, it looks like.
4th and a 5th. Okay. And then we'll have the Broncos. And of course, the Broncos, are if this is the Vikings going up to get either we would have to assume McCarthy or Bo Nix, right? Then you got to assume Denver's going to take Nix because there's not much left.
I feel like this quarterback class is going to be god awful, except for Caleb Williams.
You know what? I don't care. Because they're going all ahead of us, and that means that the guys, although Latham is already gone, which is just a shocker to me.
Realistically, like a guy like Darian Arnold could go to 20, and if they took him, I wouldn't care. But
Darian Arnold would be amazing.
Yeah, so. There's a nice handful of guys that I would absolutely love to see there, and it's just. The draft is, I don't know. Did you guys ever think that it would become what it's become. There are almost 200,000 people right now in a block area of downtown Detroit for this thing. It's crazy.
It's like I was telling Ryan. I mean, you could throw that many people down there on the north side. Be fine. Fine.
Where are you going to put them? You're going to put them on a bar stool at Tequila Cowboy?
That's fine. They'll all fit around the Mr. Rogers statue right there. It'll be fine.
Oh, sure. I get that.
Goodell will be on top of the decommissioned submarine outside the Science Center
on a pleasant April afternoon evening in Pittsburgh. Yeah, no big deal.
You know,
I was at. That's a good point, Bannon, because I went to the Pirates game last night and it was freezing. I mean, it was cold, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, like you gotta, I mean, hell, Ian, 2 weeks ago we had like fucking 10 inches of rain in like 4 days, like it just poured for 4 straight days. So why? The Jets were definitely there. The Vikings took McCarthy
to Minnesota.
The Jets,
okay.
The Jets were not going to take him. So why would you swap one pick? Like why? I don't fucking people. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Unless
my guess is they were afraid Denver was going to
jump up him.
Yeah.
But Denver doesn't have a second round pick, so how would they?
No, but it only cost Minnesota a 4 and a 5 to move up.
Right.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
But Denver would have been moving up 2 spots.
Yeah. 2 spots. So
I don't think they would have had to give up a second. No. What is that? 5 quarterbacks? You got Williams, Daniels, May, Penix, and now McCarthy. Man. So Melvin brings up a wonderful point. What is everyone drinking tonight? And Ian, I know you have a wide range of beverages for this evening.
I do. I have a full selection over here. So right now at the beer store, they have this $1 rack where they put the things they can't sell, and you can sample them for $1. So this is a Great Lakes Brewing cookie milk stout, and it is really dark and really heavy, and it's delicious.
I would think it's dark.
I also found
is that like a milkshake IPA where they use the what do they call it? The milk yeast?
Maybe I will have to read the can and see if it says it on there anywhere. I also have this Salty Crew blonde ale that says
you're quite salty.
Yeah, I figured when Ben gets salty later, and my normal supply of whiskey and other stuff, just for other enjoyment. I also
got a good
have
supply of whiskey and other stuff too. Yeah.
I also have this bottle of limoncello that I got for free. So yeah, we'll see if the Steelers make me happy and I want to drink something gold, I'll drink that.
Ooh. Scarps, what do you got tonight?
Just seltzer.
So what? White Claws?
No, it's a Topo Chico's.
A what'a?
The
different brand, same shit.
I know what he's talking. Yeah, that's right. That's what my
Johnny drinks those.
Enjoyed those.
Johnny and I are on the same page.
You and Johnny definitely are connoisseurs of the hard seltzer.
Yeah.
I got a hazy IPA from Ecliptic, and I got some bourbon.
Wonderful.
Usual.
Yeah, I love a little
bit of larceny, IPA. Barrel strength, barrel proof. I think this is like 127 proof. Johnny actually gave this to me for my birthday. Thank you, Johnny.
Well, is Johnny here yet? I don't know if he is.
I don't know that he is.
I'm keeping it light tonight because I don't know how long this will go. So instead of the heavy IPAs, I just have some Yinglings.
Some dinglings, huh?
Some ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-lings down in at my feet here in my little refrigerator, and of course some bourbon. But
you have a fridge under your podcasting. That's impressive.
I do. I have this old table that used to be in my classroom, and that's where my station is. And then right underneath, I've got a nice little mini fridge, fully stocked and prepared. And
that table doubles as the drum. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, it does double as a drum. I know that irritates the hell out of Ben, which is largely why I keep doing it. By the way, Ian, you did.
The listeners can hear that, man.
I know. I'm trying to do all these things. Ian, this is I'm going to add this to the stage here real quick, and I'll let you kind of run through what you've got here.
Oh yeah, so I just figured, being the spreadsheet nerd of the show, if we wanted to follow along of where things were, who was left, I've got our SCB big board that we published on the website over here on the right hand side, so we can see who our top ranked players available are. I know last week on the show, someone in the chat asked about if we were going to do a mock draft or anything, but we published our rankings and they're here on the show and kind of keeping track of who's been picked already. So if we need to pull it up anytime during the night, we'll just kind of keep it there. So yeah, but we're 10 picks in. We're 10 picks away from the Steelers unless we trade up, and see where it goes from here.
Well, so I think it's a good time to start talking about the Steelers a little bit here, because with 10 picks to go, and clearly Omar Khan has proven already in his short tenure as the GM that he's willing to move up. JC Latham was a guy I think that they probably wanted, and he's long gone, going at, what was it, number 7. Ben, what are their options right now? What do you think they're looking at?
You got me when I was eating.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. There are all the centers. Most of the tackles are still there. Wide receivers, still got some good wide receiver options there. They wanted to go that route. I doubt they will. I don't see a wide receiver. But Dunze's already gone, for that matter. I mean,
right.
Yeah. Corners. All the corners,
Yeah. In other words, they're going to have some options here, obviously.
Yeah.
But
the Steelers are there. There are a handful of good players, more so than I can remember in a long time, that are going to be there at 20. You're probably going to have 6 or 7 different players to choose from that can all be contributors at various levels, and so I'm pretty enthusiastic about it, especially given the fact that this many quarterbacks have already gone. Oh. And I think we're going to see at least one more before we pick. And when this many quarterbacks go, other players slide. So one or two things will happen. We'll either have an opportunity to trade back and pick up a nice pick, maybe a second.
Oh,
you never know.
God, I would love it.
If somebody's desperate, maybe a second.
Yep.
Buffalo. Yes.
Probably. But maybe. But yeah, picking up another day 2 pick would be nice. Or getting a nice player at 20.
Is this the first time you guys can remember a defensive player was not picked in the top 10? Because they're all offense so far.
First time for a while, yeah.
It's funny you mention that, because one of the guys on ESPN, it might have been Booger McFarland that said that he was like, I don't know that there's going to be a defensive player, and there hasn't been. Now, with the Jets on the clock here, that could change. But there's, Brock Bowers is still out there, and I mean, he would be a great target for Aaron Rodgers, obviously. But
Jets need help on the line too.
They do.
I'm surprised that Bowers is still there. I thought he might go top 5.
Well, I think when you just look at, like you mentioned, the quarterback run, I think that's pushed him down the board. That and a couple of tackles. So, and you get the one receiver outstanding, but I think Odunze going, it might, like you said, Ben, that might force Buffalo to get even more desperate, because they need a receiver. You could argue we need a receiver, but I don't know.
I think for what we're looking for, I mean, we really could use a guy who could play either outside or in the slot. I think in the 2nd or 3rd round, we talked about this last week, but a guy like Ricky Pearsall from Florida, Xavier Legette from South Carolina, there's some good players that are going to be there on day 2, I think, that we should be able to choose from. Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky, the guy who's a yards after catch machine.
I would be fine with any of those, quite frankly. I think Legette, Pearsall, probably 2nd, 3rd round. So I don't know. This is just the Jets apparently are taking their sweet time. I haven't.
Legette, I'd be thrilled with.
Yeah, I think he has the potential to be kind of a Deebo Samuel type.
Maybe. I think it's going to be more like a glorified possession receiver, but he He's physical.
Right.
He's not going to be a guy who's going to shy away from contact.
He's got wicked speed for his size too.
He's got wicked quickness.
Yeah.
It's not so much long speed. He's got very good short area.
Would
short
not
area
mind
quickness.
him at all. Man. So those of you that are with us tonight, go ahead, throw it in. Who do you think the Steelers are drafting? Throw it in the chat. Let us know. I mean, obviously you've seen some of the guys already come off the board so far. So and then any observations, of course, from the draft as well. Steeler Nation has been, not surprisingly, very well represented in Detroit. I would say outside the Lions gear, I've seen more black and gold than anything else. And they just took the second tackle. Troy Fautanu of Penn State has been selected by the New York Football Jets. Probably not a real big surprise there. They needed some help on the lines.
Third tackle.
If you're Denver here at 12, do you massively overdraft Bo Nix, who's like 25 years old? Because Vegas is behind you, and Vegas also needs a quarterback.
Yep.
Or do you trade down with someone like maybe a Philadelphia, who is always aggressive in trading up? And then, because Denver doesn't have a second-round pick. So, and Philly's got 2 second-rounders. So, like, that seems like a very easy match of, Denver doesn't have a second. And actually, all these teams right in a row here, between Chicago, Minnesota, the Jets, and Denver, none of them had second-round picks. So, like, I'm a little surprised Philly didn't try and make a move up somewhere in there, and maybe they still are, to use one of their seconds to come up and get somebody, because Philly's a team to me that like has Super Bowl aspirations.
Yeah.
And just kind of broke down in the secondary at the end.
And I was just going to say, they need a corner.
Yeah. I mean, Quinion Mitchell's there.
Yeah.
The Broncos made a pick. The pick is in. So,
wow.
Yeah. That said, if
Knicks.
Denver takes a quarterback here, I mean, Vegas,
I bet you they take Knicks.
Whatever they want. Yeah.
I do too. I mean, what else are you going to do at this point? You've got to take, they got nothing.
It's Knicks.
Are you gonna start Zach Wilson?
Are you looking at the tippers? Is it Knicks?
Everybody's tipping. It's not like it's one. Yeah, Bo Nix.
Okay,
bro.
6 quarterbacks in the top 12.
I'm telling you.
Trust me, bro.
Melvin is living his best life right now.
This quarterback draft class is going to be. It won't be as bad as the Pickett one, but it's not going to be good.
I think Williams.
The Pickett one was awful, but that's why nobody got drafted in the first round, except for our guy, and he wasn't worthy of that pick.
I think Daniels has a chance. I'm not saying he's going to be great. I just think he's got a chance.
I think he's going to be fine.
I think Kingsbury,
I think he's going to be fine
as an offensive coordinator, pretty solid. Quinn's been around the block. I think he'll be okay if they can put a running game around him a little bit.
This reminds me almost of the 2011 draft where you had like Jake Locker go to Tennessee, and then Tyron Smith went to Dallas, who was a Pro Bowler, and then Blaine Gabbert to Jacksonville, and then J.J. Watt to Houston, who's a Hall of Famer, and then Christian Ponder to Minnesota, and then like the next couple picks were Nick Fairley, who was a decent defensive tackle, Robert Quinn, Mike Pouncey, and Ryan Kerrigan, who were all Pro Bowlers. So it's like teams overdrafted quarterbacks that year. And the ones that the other players that got taken in between wound up all being Pro Bowlers.
I mean, you'd have to say that is, I don't even know if it's a trend anymore. I think it's almost a rule that teams are overvaluing quarterbacks. I mean, is it safe to say that we overvalued Kenneth Shane Pickett? I mean, to take him at 20 and 2 years later, bye-bye. I mean, teams just want to hit the lottery. And that's why they're taking quarterbacks all the time. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just feels that way to me.
Yeah. Just it's the most important position on the field, and teams
for years.
For
years. Of course you also don't want to be the guy or the team that passes on somebody, because we know how that goes.
A guy.
No,
I'll say this though. This is shaping up for the Steelers to be a layup, right? They should absolutely not reach for a pick.
No, right.
And
exactly.
that's all that I cared about.
To your board.
Yes, this is
Take Mims, even though he won't start this year and it'll piss Ryan off, but take him anyway.
If you can take a 6'7" tackle with like 11.5-inch hands and an
90-inch wingspan,
it won't
take that guy.
I mean, it won't piss me off, but like,
I'd really rather have a guy.
Still don't have a center.
Right, yeah,
you can get a center in round 2 though.
The mighty Clifford suggested Graham Barton, and I just don't know where Barton plays. I mean,
Schefter just tweeted that Sean Payton has never drafted a quarterback in the first 2 rounds.
Well, if he doesn't here, that's going to continue because he doesn't have a second-round pick.
No, he did. They took Knicks. So coming into tonight,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Coming into tonight, he'd never taken a quarterback in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, my board hasn't updated yet.
Well, yeah, because they traded or signed Drew Brees as a free agent, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that I knew, but I thought that Peyton had taken a. No, I guess his first stop as a head coach was New Orleans, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so they take Knicks. Boy, the Raiders. What do the Raiders do? Oh my gosh.
If they're smart, they take a tackle, but they're the Raiders, so they'll probably take a wide receiver or a corner.
Or Brock Bowers.
Or Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers and who throws to him,
Speaking
of
Barton,
Minshew,
Aaron, because I wasn't really on the Barton train until today.
Oh, you weren't on it until today? What changed your mind?
Merrill Hodge came out and said he's the best football player I've seen this year. Best guy coming in. Best guy in the class. Yeah, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to go back and look at it a little bit. Yeah. He is really athletic. He is really tenacious.
He is.
And I think that's what Hodge likes. I wouldn't say he's the best player in this class, but I think there's some value there, and I get it. And the other thing we didn't know until yesterday was JPJ has got some concussion history that might be a concern going into the NFL. And playing center, you get hit in the head a lot.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that Pouncey was like, I played long enough. I'm done.
Yeah, that news broke about 2 hours after I had put out my mock with, of course, JPJ as my number 20 pick there too. So thanks to the guys there.
And this is why, if you remember the Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin press conference they did earlier this week, they said, we're not going to get into trying to figure out who other teams are going to take. We're going to make a board with 20 guys on it of our top 20. And then if someone below that gets picked, we'll have more guys to choose from, but we know we'll get one of these 20 players. Right.
Yeah.
The question is, though, with all these quarterbacks going, there's no way they had Penix or Nix or McCarthy or maybe even May on their board.
I think they probably had, but they had Nix and they had Nix and McCarthy going, right?
Not in the top 20. I wouldn't.
Christ, man.
So I guess what I'm saying is, right, if you make your board of the top 20 players and 4 guys who weren't on your list get taken, and you're sitting there at 20 and you're like, we've got 5 guys to choose from on our list.
Right.
And you get an offer to trade down 2 or 3 spots. Like, you got to seriously consider that, because then you're still going to have at least one of those guys available.
Fucking Bo Nix is going to be eligible for Social Security in 3 years.
Like, seriously, man, he's going to be 30 if he gets a second contract.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. He's going to be 30.
Well, but I guess if you're Denver though, what's your alternative? You got to have a quarterback.
He's not Brandon Wheaton or anything, but
Chris Weinke.
Brandon Wheaton,
like 28 and had a worse hairline than I do when he went.
Yeah, Weinke, wasn't he taken for a third in the supplemental draft or something?
Yeah, because he had a baseball career, if I remember correctly.
Let's take a journey together.
I like a nice journey.
And we're not talking Russell Wilson, Jim Jones journey here. We're talking about the Denver Broncos and how they've been trying to fill a hole at quarterback since John Elway retired. and they have
He said, "Fill a
drafted.
hole."
I did giggity. They have drafted Drew Lock, Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, a guy by the name of Zach Dysert.
Oh, he's a good
Brock Osweiler, Tim Tebow, Tom Brandstatter, Jay Cutler, who actually Jay Cutler was a pretty good quarterback.
Did
they draft Cutler or did they?
Yeah,
they drafted him and then they traded him
Yep.
to the Bears.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Came out of
he was pretty decent.
Vanderbilt.
He was pretty decent.
He was super talented. He was just like ho hum, like, oh well, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a game. I don't care.
Matty Mock from LSU.
So the Raiders are taking Bowers.
I was right.
And Jarius Jackson from Notre Dame. Oh, that goes back to 2000.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
So, Kenny Pickett sucked, but like at least we had like Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Well, but we're in that position now that Denver's been in for a long time.
There hasn't been a defensive player selected yet.
No, still not. As Jamie just said, not one CB either. So obviously no defense.
Hey, if Terry and Arnold is there, I would absolutely.
If Terry and Arnold is there, I agree with you. Or Mitchell, either one of them. I mean, I'd be fucking giddy.
Oh, over any lineman?
Oh, God, they're so damn good. I mean, think about this. You'd have two corners that are basically number one corners on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you do with Jackson this year.
And I don't think this draft is very deep in terms of good corners.
Arnold can play inside out, can he? He can play both
Arnold
ways.
can play both. Arnold's like 5'11", but he's got a nose for the ball. I mean, he'll stick his nose in there.
Yeah, he's a good,
and he's
really,
physical.
Really
He could be your nickel out of the gate and also be a good corner and run support.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're 7 picks away, so let's hold our horses. But that would be nice. That wouldn't suck.
No, and I mean, just with every pick that goes by, our chances just seem to get better and better. Scarps.
I don't know this because obviously it's too late, but like I could see Jacksonville probably taking Terry and Arnold.
Yes, absolutely.
And then torturing us for a decade like they used to do when Ben was playing there.
Yeah, when Rasheed Mathis took our souls.
Several times.
I think this is actually a good pick for the Raiders, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But Gardner Minshew is a decent quarterback. Antonio Pierce it did pretty well for them. So there's some life injected into the Raiders, and Brock Bowers is the best tight end in this draft. He's
the only first round grade, really, the only legitimate one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. I don't want to say he's not. There's only one Gronk, but he's athletic. He's a threat. He's a good blocker.
Yep.
I think it's a good pick for the Raiders. I normally want to shit on the Raiders, but like I think I like this pick for them.
And I agree with you, Scarps. Minshew's the guy to me that he can probably get you to the playoffs. I don't think he's going to do much more than that. I don't
know if he can even get you to the playoffs.
Well, especially in that division.
And they give you competent play,
right? And I
the only real powerhouse you've got in that division is KC.
Well, I think, look, Harbaugh, like him or not, he's going to make the Chargers more competent. And obviously Denver is Denver.
To me, if you're sitting at 5 and Joe Alt is there, I know they had an opportunity to take Neighbors, but that to me is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
With the quarterback that you have now, you need and the investment that you've got in him, you need somebody to protect that guy.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not like it's not like our whatever it is $4 million quarterback room.
Yeah,
it's a different situation.
Yep, totally agree.
And the Giants must be fucking giddy that they got Neighbors at 6. They must just be happier than hell.
There is.
I didn't even realize that.
Over the last, I'd say maybe 36 hours, there's been a lot of these pundits coming forward suggesting that Neighbors was really wide receiver 1. And they weren't really knocking Harrison. It was just more they felt
Saints
like
are trying to
Neighbors
trade
was just
down.
better. Saints are trying to trade down.
Yeah.
I can see
the
that.
Saints never trade down.
No, that's odd.
But I mean, I think the Raiders picking Bowers too is a case of them sticking to their board. That like if he's your best guy available, you take him.
I think that's a good thought.
It sounds like they're going to pick. They changed their mind. They're going to keep the pick.
Who's the best available tackle for that? Still available?
Probably Fautanu from Washington.
Yeah.
I think he goes here.
It's got to be Fautanu.
Or Talise Fuaga from
Fuaga.
Oregon State.
Because Derek Carr needs some help. Remember when we thought
Remember
we thought Kenny Pickett's ceiling was Derek Carr?
No. We said Derek Carr light. L-I-T-E.
Yeah,
light.
you're right.
Light.
Like Miller, but only Carr light.
I'm so old. I remember when defenses used to win championships.
Right.
Derek Carr without the strong arm.
Derek Carr.
The other thing, though, that kind of stinks about no defensive players being taken is that, unfortunately, like the next team that needs one is probably Cincinnati. So if Cincinnati takes Byron Murphy, that's going to suck for us.
Well, it will, but you could argue two things now. One is that Cincinnati needs a tackle, but they might also need an edge rusher.
That's true with Hendrickson.
With Hendrickson basically saying, "Get me out of here."
He's demanding a new contract or a trade, as a lot of players are to do.
Leave it to Aaron to bring this show down to an inappropriate level. Talking about the sister of Brock Bowers. I mean, let the poor guy, Aaron, just enjoy his moment. And he's already scamming on the poor girls in there. Jeez, oh man, I tell you.
Aaron's attending the draft tomorrow night, isn't he?
He is. He's making the drive up to the Motor City. Hopefully there's not 190,000 people there.
So the Saints took Fuaga.
Okay, Fuaga.
Wow.
Makes sense. I would say that's some chalk still.
I'm fine with that because I did not love him
on that. No, I'm thinking right tackle on that dude.
I agree.
He's shorter.
He's
arms.
nasty. Yeah, he did. He is nasty. I like the way he run blocks, but his pass blocking is so.
Was there some consideration that he could kick down to guard?
There was some, but I don't think he's gonna want to.
Don't think he's going to. Okay.
Yeah, like he's got the dimensions to play tackle.
Right.
He's probably just don't want him on the left, but
yeah,
he could play guard. He'd be damn good at it, but there's more money playing tackle, so he's probably going to want to play tackle.
Scarps.
So Schefter, it's a break easy, but Schefter tweeted about the Bo Nix pick, and he basically said that they had a private workout with him, and they sent him like offensive plays because Peyton's a fucking madman, I guess he he passed the test, and then like he threw, and they were like, okay, this guy's fine. So thinking that like for Sean Payton's whole career, he had Drew Brees, who was as cerebral as anybody, but also
good point.
But also until he hurt that shoulder,
he
was unbelievable. But in this, unfortunately, the guy that was the quarterback for the Broncos last year is now our quarterback. But but that's not what Russ does. Russ is more of a extend the play, maybe go off script, make something happen. Where I think that Peyton. So I think this is I know Bo Nix is old, but I think he'll probably be okay. But I don't fucking know. Nobody knows shit.
I think Russ sticks to the script until about the third read. Then it's playground football. There might be a fourth and a fifth read, but nah, we're not going that deep into the play. So Aaron and his son that he caught pissing in the corner the other day
in the Fields jersey, by the way,
are both going to the draft tomorrow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Have fun, Aaron.
Aaron, by the way, may actually be our reporter on the scene. We may get a call from him tomorrow evening.
Oh yeah,
nice. Yeah. It's just a rumor, but it might happen. What was I going to ask here a minute ago? Oh,
go on. You're going on. Are you going on like 4:00?
Well, your time. Yeah. 7-ish
on the good coast.
on the good coast.
Mark, you might be the only one on that time.
That's okay.
It
That's
might
all
be
right.
you and the people in the chat.
I know there's going to be plenty of our friends here with us here, and we can just chat it up. I was going to ask you, Ian, you were talking about the testing and stuff that they did with Nix. I saw they also did like an hour-long Zoom with him and kind of tested him over that and stuff.
They put a lot of work in with him.
Are you guys aware of what are the procedures, rules for how often they can communicate with these potential draft picks? I mean, obviously they can have an official visit, but I mean, it just seemed like they were like all in on this guy, and I didn't know if all that was allowed. Obviously, it was, but I just was curious.
I don't think there's any rules per se. I think a lot of it is how much time the kids have for each team, because you've got 32 different teams potentially trying to contact you or meet with you or whatever over the span of like basically a month and a half from the combine till last week when the deadline was. So I think the only rule is the like official visits stop a week before the draft. So I think last Thursday was the last day they could have.
I believe that's correct.
But they could still do Zoom calls after that, which is
right.
Yeah.
Right. I just wondered if there was some kind of set of rules or anything there, but I don't know. Are we getting to the point where the Steelers could be looking to move up here? If there's somebody they really want? Well, I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying if there's somebody that they really truly want, and I don't know who that would be right now.
Yeah, I mean, if there was somebody they really wanted, you'd start thinking about it now. But I think the way this draft is falling, I don't see it.
No, I don't think they need to either.
All the quarterbacks being taken, really, it's going to give them a lot of options, man.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I know they might have because Quinion Mitchell didn't even go anywhere yet. Although he might be
go right here.
He might be going here to Indy, but man, at this point, I would be pissed if they didn't take the best offensive lineman available, because there's still 2 tackles, and 2 centers,
and Mims,
Barton and Powers Johnson.
Yeah.
So
I labeled Barton as a guard. I will change him to offensive lineman. There we go. The guys in bold, by the way, are ones that we either went to their pro day or had in for pre-draft visits. So.
Wait a minute. Are we bringing this table up so we can discuss it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I'm just randomly putting it up there so people might be following along with
Here's a guy that knows how to do spreadsheets.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say, I know that the whatever it is trade value chart's not complete gospel. But right now we're at the point where a first and a third probably gets you up to 16 with Seattle. So we've got 2 third-round picks. So let me
ask you guys something.
If they wanted to move up, it wouldn't cost them a ton.
If you had a choice between Fautanu, who I didn't think was going to be there, and Mims, what do you do?
I would take Mims. I think Fautanu's just the size of Mims, I think, gives you such an advantage in what he can do.
Okay. Oh, I'll give you a reference here, and this is just for conversation. Max Starks is a gigantic human being.
Yes.
6'8".
Was not a great offensive tackle. He was okay.
No. Yeah. Fair.
So
actually,
size.
Mark, go back
It's
to my
not the all end all.
I got
That's all I'm
something
saying.
else.
Yeah, Mark. What's wrong with you? Shut
So,
up.
so I also have this spreadsheet comparing offensive linemen. Our fans in the chat love me. But if you look at Fautanu versus Mims here, right? So these two, I mean, when you look at, there
Not
we
seeing
go.
anything. Is it up?
It's up.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about Mims has 4 inches on him. He's got 5 inches longer on his wingspan. Plus he's younger. Mims is only 21. Fautanu's 23 years old. So Fautanu might be a little more polished, but 2 years older. I'd go with the athleticism and upside of Mims being the younger player too. That's
there is something to be said for that. The fact that he's barely 21.
Yep. And the Steelers typically, if you go away from Pickett and Najee, they typically go very young in the first round.
Yeah. So Indy's taking a while here on the clock.
They are. They're. I wonder if they're entertaining some offers. Because I'm with you guys. I'm a bit surprised the Eagles haven't made a move here at some point. They usually do.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what happened to Ben. He dropped like a stone. I don't know where he went. Anyway, is this draft moving along? It's almost.
It is, yeah.
It actually is kind of.
And everyone's pretty much, with exception of the one slight pick between the flip between Minnesota and the Jets, everyone stayed in their spot.
Right.
So when are we not trading for Brandon Ayuk?
Who?
Latu Latu to the Colts of 15.
Wow.
Oh,
wow. That kid's a great story. Good for him.
Yeah. And I hope he has a nice career. I mean, he was told he shouldn't play football anymore.
He medically retired for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was. Yeah. No, that's another great pick for us.
Yes.
We definitely weren't going in that direction in round
No, we were not.
No.
He's another old guy though. He's like what, 22, 23, somewhere
he's
around
gotta
there?
be, because he had the earlier years of Washington.
Yeah.
Scarps, I was going to ask you, are you in any communication with your former friends in the Pittsburgh media at all during this, by the way?
I usually give them some space when I know they're busy. We were talking earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier today, just bullshitting. And
Did anybody have a feel?
I wasn't even talking about the draft. I said that I told Kabali that he would be an elite interior defensive lineman.
Did Mark's surgical procedure, did everything go well on that, by the way?
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh, good.
It's funny because as soon as I saw it, like I messaged the group, and he was like, "That picture's from 7 years ago." He's like, "You fuckers on Twitter are so gullible," and I'm like, I was like, well, part of me is like, I was concerned about your health or whatever. He's like, that wasn't even. He said he's fine, but that picture was like 7 years ago.
Because he blew out like both of his Achilles, didn't he?
He did.
Like,
Yeah,
he did one and then did the other one.
Yeah, he did.
Welcome back, Ben.
He did, but it's like
good for him for messing with people.
It is fun, and it's like I just want to say this, but this is the nature of
Yes.
social media now. But like, those dudes and dudettes work very, very hard.
Absolutely.
They are there in that building almost all the time. And
who just got taken?
Yeah.
Yes, Colts.
And, they don't always get things right. And who does? So, like, I know it's cool to shit on somebody on the internet and just pile on, but like, Kaboli's a fantastic human being. He would do anything for anybody. And I enjoy the hell out of him when he's on. Like, I mean, he's a good dude, but like when he's on McAfee, I fucking laugh. Like, I think it's funny. Like, did you see a couple weeks ago when they were was it the owners' meetings? Where were they?
Probably.
The Combine.
Yeah.
But like, it was like 6 or 7 people on a set, and like they were like just like glued to every word he was saying. Like, it was just like, it's like he was a mini god. It was pretty funny, but
it's
Kabali.
funny.
The thing that I mean, I know Kabali says some stupid shit, writes some stupid shit sometimes, in my opinion. But the thing that the dude does, seriously, he does. The thing the dude does, and I give him props here for this, is he actually busts his ass to try and get us news on a timely basis. And I know that's his job, whatever. But the guy actually works at it. There are some guys that just kind of fuck around and they half-ass it. Yeah. And Kabali doesn't. And that's honestly what I respect about him, is just that grind,
Yeah.
And, I've heard his reputation. He's funny, blah, 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 yada, yada. Good dude, all that. That's great. But you got to respect the grind, man.
Yeah, and
Somebody
the
works
other
hard at
thing-
their craft. You got to respect it.
and
Like the four of us on this program.
Oh,
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to respect our grind right here.
But how many times in the past month have we seen some jag on Twitter be like, sources, and it's just like,
Oh,
you're
I can
full
think
of
of
shit.
one or two in particular.
Sources that I fucking made up.
Well, so here's the thing. Maybe you do have a source and they told you the wrong thing, and that's not your fault.
Right.
That
But
happens.
again, I'm so old when it used to have to confirm 3 different sources to actually go with the story.
Yes.
And I will say that the beat writers do their due diligence. They do not go off of just one source. Like they will get it verified by multiple people. So
yeah.
I appreciate, you're right. They do grind and they work,
It's not an easy.
Something just occurred to me.
What's that?
The Falcons gave $80 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Yes.
And then they drafted a quarterback?
Yes. One that was like,
sorry, I know I'm late
old.
for the show.
That's fine.
I'm late for the party here, and this is something Ian brought up as soon as it happened. But seriously? What the fuck?
What's even more shocking about it is that, Penix isn't 20 or 21. He's like 25,
Yeah, he was like a 60-year senior because
right,
of fucking COVID.
Right. So the dude's going to have a real short window for a career if Cousins has a few more good years.
People are on the twatter right now saying that Seattle might take Barton here.
They're showing somebody who's on the phone.
I'll trust you guys.
Did you notice how few guys they drafted? They invited to sit in the green room this year.
Well, they invited a bunch, but I think it's only 13 that accepted.
Right. They invited like 23 guys or something, and like some guys didn't respond at all, and so the invite was rescinded.
Yeah, there's just a bunch that just did not want to be there.
Hey, cool, I get it.
And I think I'd much rather be just chilling with my family watching too. I have to be very honest. All
right, so let's see who the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, Ryan. I want to see a Seahawks pick, and then we can kind of reset here with.
Yeah, I still dead. I wasn't trying to steal your thunder.
Not at all,
man.
No,
thunder stealer, fucking hater.
No,
because I'm just gonna say I think the Seahawks take.
I mean, one of these corners. I mean, Mitchell's got to go at some point.
I mean, if Pete was still there, I would say that they would go defense, but
I think they're going to take Barton. I think the Jaguars are going to take Arnold, and then I think the Bengals are going to take Byron Murphy. And if the Bengals don't take Byron Murphy, the Rams are going to take Byron Murphy.
Yeah, that would be perfect for the Rams.
Yes.
The Rams should take Byron Murphy.
Especially with Donald retiring.
So then you're looking at, although Quinion Mitchell's still around.
I'll tell you what, if Quinion Mitchell's there, I mean, I know they didn't go to his pro day. They didn't bring him in for a pre-draft visit, but they were at the Senior Bowl, and Tomlin loves those Senior Bowl guys, and Mitchell was arguably the best player at the Senior Bowl. So I would not hate Quinion Mitchell.
And Brian Thomas and Kyra Powers Jacks. Oh my God.
If we could go back in time, let's go back in time a minute. We talked last week, and I asked about this. Ziggy Hood was the last time.
Nope, Seahawks are taking Byron Murphy. Holy shit.
Okay, all right. So
it's
Murphy,
a good pick for them.
It is. It's a really nice pick for them. He's
a nice player. I mean,
yep, absolutely. That's a safe pick. It's a good pick.
Oh, their new head coach is McDaniel.
Right, defensive guy.
Or no, McDonald. Sorry, Mike McDonald, not Mike McDaniel. Sorry.
He used to sing for the Doobie Brothers, one way or the other.
Right.
But going back in time, Ziggy Hood was the last time we drafted a guy in the first round that Tomlin did not go to his pro day. Do you guys remember the other players around him that were drafted?
Yes, I do, because we should have taken.
Ian does, of course.
Who is the center? The center from, was it Oregon, that Seattle took at the beginning of the second round, and we had to.
Wasn't that the guy the Jets took?
Ben Grubbs?
No. Hold on, it'll come to me. Oh shoot! This is gonna.
Not Max Unger.
Yes, it was Max Unger.
Max
We
Unger,
should,
not Ben
'cause
Grubbs,
if we had
but-
taken Max Unger that year, we
No.
wouldn't have. I mean, Marquise Pouncey, all-time Steeler, but like
Right.
our center play was awful in 2009. That was the that wasn't the Sean Mahan year.
No, I was
That
going to say
this is-
Mahan, but I don't.
No, Mahan
This
was
is sick right
07.
now. I cannot believe. What about Guyton? What?
No,
I
you guys
don't-
think Guyton's boomer bust.
Yeah.
Sorry. So no, but if we had taken Unger, we would have had much better center play in 2009 when like we gave up blitzes up the gut all year and couldn't stop
Constantly.
them.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah. By the way, this
Um,
other beer is like inversely proportional of darkness to the first one I had.
Wow.
This is, like,
Now,
super
see,
light.
I love those kind of beers. That's a beautiful looking beer.
I
hey,
like the
just,
dark beer.
Just wanted to say thanks to everybody for joining us on our draft special tonight.
Cheers to all of you. Thank you for
First
being
round. Love having you guys here.
here. Except for the people from Ohio, like Aaron, but everybody else.
Yeah. There's a
So-
few people from Ohio. I'm
Okay,
not sure
so-
why, but
so-
Scarps.
Do you think that they trade out of 20?
I'd consider it at this point. Yeah.
I
Yeah, the way
have
the
to
way the
think they're
board's
talking
falling,
about it.
You got to. I mean, you got to talk about it. You got to think about it, right?
I mean, here's the thing.
If
Though,
you can
if
pick up
Terry
a-
and Arnold is there, I
If
think
you can
take
pick up a
Terry.
third pick on day 3, I mean, shit. Excuse me, day 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
it depends on how far down you have to go and what you can get. But I mean, like Terry and Arnold and Amarius Mims would be really, really hard to pass up on if both of them are there. I don't know.
I mean, the thing with Arnold though is he's playing right now.
yes, Arnold
Isn't he?
can play right now.
Whereas
yeah.
Mims, I just
Mims
mean,
can't play this year, but
No.
again, your first round pick should be a dude who you get 10 years out of
I
minimum.
agreed. And
So-
and by the way, if you go to the site steelcityblitz.com, you will find an article there that Ian wrote some time ago about why we don't draft cornerbacks in the first round or
Well,
in general.
You really shouldn't draft corners after pick like 40.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the best potential to hit. But you're right that guys who have been in the league longer and corners on second contracts generally are better than rookie corners. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, and that's
Dude, I don't know. If Terry Arnold's there,
Yeah, because I mean, right
that's
now,
gonna be really, really hard.
yeah,
I
they took Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry out for dinner before Alabama's pro day, which is usually
Yeah.
a sign that they really like those guys.
Yeah.
this is a fair point right here. Don't trust to develop. I get that. I honestly do. I mean, there's a little bit of truth to that. I'm not knocking Pat Meyer. I think Pat Meyer had a really good first year, and second year was up and down. But I
The other one that I'll throw out
They
there
still haven't
is
announced the Seahawks pick.
no. The other one that I'll just throw out there, and I think we all like Terry and Arnold more, but
Mhm.
Nate Wiggins from Clemson, they went to his pro day
Ton
and
of
had him
attention.
here for pre-draft visit. So they definitely have some interest there. That said,
Not
Wiggins
at
injury
20?
Wiggins injury history scares me a little bit that he's
he's
Injury
primarily
history-
boundary too.
he's
isn't
a
he?
boundary guy.
Yeah.
He's fast.
It's
though. I
injury
mean,
history, though. It's injury history combined with a lack of physicality. And so you start to wonder, is the lack of physicality about the fact that he's been injured so often?
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We just had a trade
What?
here.
We did.
Minnesota just went up to 17
Ooh, with
with
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
Jacksonville needed a corner, so that's good for us.
Right.
This is gonna
What
be.
does Minnesota want?
I think we're gonna take Quinion Mitchell.
I think this is a corner. I agree, Scarps. I think that's what this is.
Yeah, probably. I tend to agree with you. It's probably going to be a corner. And
I mean, they've got receivers. They got Hawkinson at tight end. I mean, maybe a tackle, but
nothing here about what the terms were, but what it cost them.
Ooh, that's a sneaky little pick. I didn't see anybody predicting any kind of move like that over the last few days.
Well, I think most people had Minnesota trading 12 and 23 to get
Right.
up into the top 5.
Yep.
But the quarterback that maybe they
Nope.
wanted fell to
Get
them?
this: the Vikings are taking Dallas Turner.
No?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Another
Well,
defensive player off the board, but that's
Yep.
good for us.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Another
not
guy
a position.
we wouldn't.
Not
No,
a guy we were
another-
considering.
Nope.
I wouldn't think. I mean, I'd love to have a spare Dallas Turner to be a third edge player, but would you really burn a first-round pick on a third edge player?
No. But also, I'm really glad that Byron Murphy did not go to Cincinnati. I've got to say,
Yeah,
that
same.
dude can play.
So am
Seattle's gonna
I.
enjoy him.
Could this be
Bungles
a
are on the
receiver?
clock.
Could this be a receiver at 20?
I've heard some concerns about Brian Thomas. I've heard some concerns about Adonai Mitchell. The guy who might be a sneaky
Mitchell
one
will
is,
be there in your second or third round, though.
yeah, no, well, the guy who might be a sneaky pick here is Xavier Worthy from Texas, because that dude ran didn't he break the combine
did.
record in the 40?
He did.
Yeah.
He's a slot guy, though, man. He's a slot only. He's too.
To
Oh.
answer that question, we were just talking. I think all of us would love to see a trade down, pick up extra pick or two.
Yeah.
Whether that comes to fruition or not, because the board really is falling nicely.
I mean, right now
think?
you've got Fautanu, tackle from Washington, Mitchell, corner from Toledo, Arnold. Yeah, all right. So you've got Fautanu, Mitchell, Arnold, Mims, and Wiggins all here with us picking in 3 picks. So yeah, if someone wants to move up, here, I'll scroll down a little bit here. If we're not trading with Baltimore, but if Buffalo wants to move up for a wide receiver, that might be a bit far. But Green Bay, maybe.
Yep.
Green Bay from 25 to 20, that could work out pretty nicely.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, realistically, we'd swap first and maybe get a third or fourth at best.
No, well, actually, the deal I like with Green Bay, this is a little bit complicated, but so we would give up first, second, and our final third, and get Green Bay's first, 41 and 91. So we'd move up 10 spots in the second round and 7 spots in the third round to move down 5 in the
pick
first.
swaps.
Pick swap. But
Aaron, I do think Detroit.
Aaron's onto something. There's been a ton of talk here locally that they would really like one of these corners, but there's also talk that they want JPJ too. They want a center because their center is currently pretty long in the teeth, I think.
Wait, didn't Detroit just sign Frank Ragnow to a big contract before last year's draft?
Yeah.
Yes. Did they?
I thought they did.
I don't know. I thought he was. Well, maybe they did.
He's not that old either. He just looks like.
I thought he was.
No, he's only 27.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Hey, East Lions fans. Now here's some guys.
Here's a bunch of guys that are drunkards.
No shit. I can tell you that, man. But they're definitely in play down there at 29. Okay, who the Bengals going to pick here? Do they panic?
Perfect.
Do they panic and go with an edge because of Hendrickson?
No,
I don't think they do now because
I would say
Dallas Turner's gone.
Yeah, it's a good question.
If they go edge, Jared Verse from Florida State's probably the best one available.
You think they might take Barton here?
They do need some offensive line help.
Yeah,
it's very possible.
Although because I'm just saying they have the best quarterback in the AFC North.
Yep.
Do they need? They got to protect him. Yeah. Do they need defensive help? Maybe they do need a corner. Hey man, Quinyon Mitchell, Toledo to Cincy.
I would hate that.
Ohio.
He's a down I-75, baby. Yep.
They're gonna draft John Ross. Remember that? They took him 9th overall, I think.
Yeah.
John Ross, remember that?
Jamie has a good point. The Bengals do like to take our draft picks.
Hey, Jamie, I hear you. It ain't their fault, though. I mean,
no.
So the Jags to move back, they got a 5th this year and a 3 and a 4 next year.
Wow.
Bengals took Mims.
Oh,
did they
Almost
really?
took Mims?
I'm okay with that. I really am.
Here we go. Steal it. Angry Yinzers right now. They fucking did it. Just to screw us.
Yep, there it is. Well,
Especially if
Fautanu-
we trade down now.
Fautanu's still there.
He is.
yeah.
He is.
Fautanu really
saying.
the last of that top tier center
He is.
offensive tackle class.
Yep.
Fautanu's a nasty motherfucker. Fautanu could play right tackle for a decade. That's stealing a line from the Ryan Scarpino school of draft thought. Solidifying that position along the line might not be a bad idea here. Just saying.
Yeah.
Wait, going back? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you. I'm just being honest.
I'm good with that.
Now here's a guy.
I'm
who doesn't
listening now.
listen to
Would
the
you
show.
say?
Nothing nice.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey, what the hell, Jen? Do they forget how to spell wow up there in this Wisconsin? What the hell's going on here?
Wisconsin.
So that's a good-
Wisconsin. They've added an I to the. I'm just teasing, Jen.
All right,
So the Bengals have Zeus Brown. They have Trent Brown. They got him.
Yep.
And now Mims is a backup. So
I think they took Mims strictly on the thought that he's going to be developmental.
and you know what? I hate to say it, but it's
a good pick.
That is a good pick. And
If
it's a
it works
luxury
out, it's a
pick.
great pick. Yep.
He's a gigantic MF.
Yep. It's a great pick.
He's not experienced. He's not going to start this year, but he can be your third tackle and come in, be the extra lineman, run block.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what do we? Okay, so all right, here we go.
So we're
you've got
Fautanu, Mitchell, Terry, and Arnold are all there.
I think the Rams are going to take the tackle, right?
You would think the Rams are going to go offensive tackle, maybe corner. Had Byron Murphy still been there, I would have said him in a heartbeat.
Here, we'll make this easier to see. There we go.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ian's very
So-
fancy.
He's a spreadsheet guy if I've ever seen one.
This
The
guy
guys-
knows how to control alt delete.
Yeah.
Well, Control C, Control V here. The guys in bold are the ones that we've, brought in for visits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Fautanu is the highest ranked on our board, generally is our crew, but I mean, I would not at all be angry about Mitchell or Terry and Arnold if they took one of those guys.
And what was as far as Fautanu, and obviously we didn't go to his pro day.
But Tomlin and Kahn did not go to his pro day, but Pat Meyer did, and we brought him in for a pre-draft visit. So there's been some contact.
There's been
The
contact.
Bengals are the ones that flagged that knee injury too.
Yes.
On Fautanu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He does have that. That's true. So there
Yep.
is an injury question mark with him.
Yep. That's.
I wonder.
This has got to be Barton then, right? At 20? I mean,
I'm just gonna say this right now. At this point, they need to take the best offensive lineman available.
even
Fautanu's
if
that
Mitchell's
guy.
there.
No, if Arnold or Mitchell are there, that's a better value, man.
I think so too. I think you can still get some linemen, but
So
man,
get this. So the Falcons called Kirk Cousins when they were on the clock.
How'd you
to
see
let him
that? Yeah.
know. Cousins understood a quarterback would be considered, but he did not believe a successor would be taken in the first round.
well, Kirk can be a little sensitive.
He's a sensitive guy.
He is. He's a sensitive guy.
He's
So
very sensitive, just like Michael Jackson.
yeah. So, hey, Kirk has to understand he's older. He's coming off a torn Achilles. I mean, did Aaron Rodgers get a
They just
call
gave
when
him
they
$80
drafted
million,
Jordan Love?
though. They gave the dude $80 million.
He shouldn't be worried at all.
They called him before free agency even started, and they already had a deal in place. And he told people, "I'm moving to Atlanta," before free agency even fucking started. They gave him $80 million, and then they burned a first-round pick on a quarterback who's going to be 30 before his second contract.
Yeah, I don't get. That's that right now. That's going to be the talk of the day tomorrow. Is what the Falcons did today.
The talk right now is this was needless. Apparently, they didn't tell him they were going to definitely do it.
Yeah,
and they damaged the relationship for basically no fucking reason. So now what happens? Does he demand a trade tomorrow?
I think the Steelers should trade down.
I agree.
Oh, Scarps, I'm with you. I would love a trade down.
And the way this board is falling, they got to be making those calls.
Because, yes.
Buffalo, Green Bay, maybe even Dallas. I think,
I think Buffalo wants Brian Thomas.
Yeah, they got to come
Junior
up.
and at. But man, and you know what? Fucking if you're gonna get Kyle Myers Johnson at 25 or 26, it fucking roll, man. Although I could see
that wouldn't suck. If we got JPJ,
right,
and we got like a 3rd round pick, I wouldn't be pissed. I don't know about you guys.
I think that.
Well,
I think they're going to stay at 20 though.
A couple of thirds and go up into the second.
Okay, I will say this though: if they take fucking Cooper, Honey Dijon Mustard, I will be pissed.
Dijon Cooper at 20.
You don't even know the guy's name.
DeGene. No, it's DeGene.
Dijon.
Cooper
Billy DeGene.
Yeah.
Cooper
Did you
Dijon.
see? He said he could beat Caitlin Clark 1-on-1.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm guessing he's probably
already. He's cocky as hell.
Yeah.
I think some of these motherfuckers are just trying to get her attention so that they can actually meet her.
Well, he went to Iowa also.
Right.
So he said, so somebody asked him, like, what's the weirdest question you've been asked by a team? And he's like, well, since I went to Iowa, people have been asking me Caitlin Clark questions. So people have been asking me if they think I could beat her 1-on-1 because he was a really good high school basketball player. Yeah. And he's got that cornerback attitude of I can beat anyone 1-on-1. What do you mean? So he was like, yeah, I could beat her. Yeah. She might make a few shots, but I could beat her.
So I'm going to ask this again. When are we not trading for Brandon Ayuk? I'm just curious.
In about 6 minutes.
Okay.
Give it 6 or 7 minutes. Scrubs.
Yeah.
I mean,
what the fuck?
There's no way. Shit. I'm not going to say that. Never say never. You just can't. I feel like I'm in.
So we're up next here. This is like there's a ton of good players available for us.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting.
I'm really kind of hoping maybe they trade back like 5 or 7.
Oh my god, I would absolutely love a trade back right now. Absolutely love it. Oh man.
Yeah. I would too, but like if they get Fautanu, Mitchell, Terrian Arnold, like I wouldn't hate it. I'd be like, all right, that's fine. If if that's the best player on your board, you stick to your board and take
Rams
that.
took Jared Verse.
Yeah.
Rams took Jared Verse.
Whoa.
So all the edges are coming off the board now.
Wow.
So Fautanu's still there for us.
Oh my god.
If his knee checked out.
Fautanu, Mitchell, Arnold.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, God, dude.
Look at this.
I am not going cornerback here.
Okay.
Why?
Because this fucking team couldn't draft and develop a cornerback to save their lives.
That's a fair take. It is.
I don't know, dude. I think that I think Grady did a pretty good job last year. I really do. That defensive backfield, they kept playing guys off the street because they didn't have any guys.
Right.
And they did all right. So I lean toward giving them the benefit of the doubt. I really do, given the current situation there.
Man,
that's me. I would be okay with it. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, Arnold can start tomorrow at
yes,
nickel.
Arnold can walk right in and start
at nickel tomorrow, and when Jackson is gone, you can move him outside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And Jackson's only under contract for a year, so
and I think
Steelers are on the clock, baby.
And look, if they end up
remove Ed Bouchette from this list.
Oh my God, they took Kenny Pickett again.
What?
That's the third time I've made that joke. I'm gonna do it 2 more times.
It's never not funny, Scurbs.
So they, but I just like they already have the highest paid defense in the league, and I know this wouldn't be like a big acquisition, but like what I'm being real.
Just like when you're in the gym, Scarps. When you see guys who can bench a lot,
not this guy, but that's fine.
Weight, okay, fine. Weight is largely a measure of time. Okay, so if a guy's been in the gym for a long time, he can push more weight than a guy who hasn't been in the gym for a long time. Contracts work the same fucking way. The fact that the Steelers have the highest paid defense in the league is largely a measure of experience versus inexperience on the offensive side.
Yeah, but they got 3 dudes on defense making the most money. But they're all experienced. I got you. I just, man, like
I'm a science guy there.
I just oh man,
I'm torn on it. I am. I see what you're saying, Scarps. This team definitely.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If they take Zach Frazier here right now, I will fucking freak out.
There's no way. That's way too fucking early. And it would be another one of those good stories.
I'd be fine.
I know, but
I'd be fine with any of these guys. But I don't.
If they go corner right now, then the story tonight and tomorrow will just simply be we feel like there's a number of guys we can still draft in rounds 2 and 3 to fulfill our line. That's the story. That's going to be the story right there. Wow, Jared Verse, man. Good player. I just didn't see that coming. Okay. That's what we've waited an hour and 18 minutes for.
I'm really surprised they took Jared fucking Verse.
I am too.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. Boy.
There's
player.
I mean, there's
time to do
so much.
Sit back, open a beer, and wait.
Yeah, you're right. It is time.
Yeah, you're right. I just feel like there's so many options here that you could move down a couple spots, but
and as we know, Ian, and you know this, I mean, it takes 2 to tango, and if there's nobody willing to come up, then you're stuck.
And remember too, I mean, Omar Khan said, you never want to trade away from a player. That if there's a player you like, you take him.
Yeah.
And if there's, there's questions about Fautanu's injury. They didn't do a ton of work on Mitchell. Arnold, they did a lot of work on. I would not be surprised by an Arnold pick. I would not be surprised by a Wiggins pick, even though I like Arnold better. We'll see. It's really just how they stack their board, and if they believe trading down a couple spots can get them an equivalently good player versus if they have a guy that they ranked in the top 10 right now. Like, look at our Steel City Blitz draft board. We had Troy Fautanu at 7 and Quenya Mitchell at 8. Like, if they had Quenya Mitchell in the top 10 and he's still there, then you take that guy. If he's that high on your board, you take him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you don't trade back. I agree. But isn't that? I mean, did they stack their board the same way we did? I don't know that.
Well, if they were smart, they would.
I like Fautanu here. I like either one of the corners.
If
I'd be
Fautanu's
okay
knee
with
checks
Wiggins.
out, yeah.
Let's say it's Fautanu. Is there going to be a sense of disappointment from Steeler fans?
I don't care.
Well, no,
We picked.
Sorry.
The pick is in.
Uh-oh.
So we did pick.
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
I'm going to pull out of this so we can get our reactions here.
ESPN's at commercial. Let's check the Twitter.
There's a surprise.
Fucking fuck.
This is Ian. This is like waiting for a kid to be born.
Some of mine have come very quickly. So.
Bathtub.
Ian's had kids delivered quicker than this.
That's true. I delivered a footling breech baby in the bathtub once.
Hey. Happy Independence Day.
Yes. Happy birthday, America.
That's right. Oh, the drama, the
The suspense is
anticipation.
killing me. All right, I need a beat writer to just leak this right now. Like,
Right. Somebody's
Yeah,
got
what the
leak.
fuck? Why haven't
somebody-
somebody
What
else?
else?
Everybody's
Kabali.
leaking this.
Come on, Kabali.
Nobody's telling me shit.
You're damn right, Jamie. There's all kinds of tension on our faces. We're going to be talking
Troy
about
Fautanu, it is.
It
It
is?
is Fautanu?
Yeah, it is Fautanu.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
Right tackle of the future. There we go.
Okay. Thank you to who's this? KRRK. Welcome in, Kirk. Kirk. I don't know how you say that.
Here's a guy who can't pronounce things.
There's a guy with 4 consonants.
Hey, Andrew, welcome to the show.
Andrew, welcome in. Yep.
Andrew's a buddy of mine from college.
Oh,
You
outstanding.
know, I keep looking
Outstanding.
at Andrew's name and thinking I see the word gold, but it's Glad.
Yes. He's in my
Right.
fantasy football league too. So
I'm sorry
Oh.
that you play fantasy football with Ian.
Ooh.
I apologize for that.
so Troy Fautanu was
Yeah,
our
let's talk
top-ranked
about
player
Fautanu here.
on our Steel City Blitz draft board. So we can feel a little bit vindicated
Yep.
that the Steelers picked our best ranked player available. So that means his knee must have checked out okay with them.
Yeah.
We had a need at right tackle.
Yep.
We can finally move Broderick Jones back to left tackle
There you
and thankfully never have to see Dan Moore, or as Scarp says, Dan Less again. And I'm pretty sure Fautanu played. Did he play right tackle or did he play left tackle at Washington? Because they also had Roger Rosengarten in this draft. I don't remember who played on which side.
Yeah.
Welcome to Cleveland. What the hell is that? What is this like? This some
Uh-oh.
displeasure with the pick? I sense
Uh-oh.
some butt hurt, Jamie.
I think Jamie's probably referring to something that we said.
Oh,
Okay, he played
Well,
left in
that's
college. There we go. All right.
Yeah,
well, he was primarily left.
He's a nasty mofo, and
He's very
he can-
nasty, which I love. This
so do
He
I.
can he can move.
He can
too. He's
play.
got some
He
nice
can play
footwork.
guard, tackle, anything you wanted, and he's nasty. That's a nasty motherfucker.
Yeah. Actually, I think our friend of the show, Derek, Steelers DB on Twitter, mentioned that he thought Fautanu could even slide into center potentially. Derek said, and Derek watched tape on all these guys much more than I did. Honestly, a lot of my draft research was watching Derek's YouTube videos. So thanks, Derek. But
Yeah, if you don't watch Derek's, seriously, if you don't watch
Derek
Derek's
does a good
YouTube
job.
channel, you're wasting some time.
don't waste your time.
Yeah,
just
I'm
watch
just saying.
Derek's.
But Fautanu was the one guy in this draft that had true like 5 position flexibility.
Yes.
So, 6'3", 317, maybe a little smaller than what the Steelers typically like in a tackle, but like 34.5-inch arms, 82-inch
Right.
wingspan, decent vertical and broad jump, good explosiveness, and you're right. He's nasty. He can move,
He's
and I think
nasty.
he can move is the big thing. Like this guy can get out.
Yeah,
in
he
front
can
of
run.
things.
You make a really good point, Ian. He can run.
Lance Zierlein at NFL Network, he has talked a lot about this kid, and he even makes mention about how good he was at guard. and I don't have any designs that's where he's going to go. I think he's either going to be a center or
What is
right tackle.
What is Dan saying? Cam who?
Oh, Cam Hayward is on TV right now with Roger Goodell making the pick because he won the
Man of the Year.
Yeah,
Man of the Year. Yeah.
Are they going to let him wear the patch on his fucking jersey? They've never done that before.
What do you mean?
The Walter Payton Man of the Year patch?
Yeah, he'll have it.
Well, they didn't let the bus wear it.
Oh, well, I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, who else has won it? Hasn't Russell Wilson won it too?
Russell Wilson has won it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd be another one that could wear it.
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting. I'm curious to see how they do that. I would hope they let him wear it, but
Yeah. Didn't so thinking back to, I think I remember an article that Troy Fautanu said he grew up a Steelers fan because he won like the Polynesian high school player of the year award or something, and like was a big Troy Polamalu fan. I don't remember if he's Samoan but he's definitely Polynesian.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I think he had a rugby background too. Those guys, his footwork is really good. Like
if you go back and watch
his footwork and his leverage,
right? If you go back and watch,
his hands are pretty good, but just the way he swivels his body and gets his shoulders under and around, it's like, dude.
Yep.
Okay. And he's just fucking nasty. That's a nasty fucking. How old is he in?
He's like 23, but the Steelers love those guys. They're like, I grew up a Steelers fan,
right?
So,
they do, but I also think to me, and Ben has mentioned it a couple of times. I love the nastiness. We have needed a guy on the offensive line like that for years. We need a guy who's gonna get after people. And
DeCastro,
I love it.
DeCastro
was really the last one that would, yep.
And Pounce was kind of a nasty, mean son of a bitch.
So Fatanu's 23. He'll turn 24 in October. So he is older.
Oh, okay. But 24 in October. So 23 and a half.
Right.
Yeah, 23.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. It's a good pick.
Yeah.
We'll get a decade out of that dude.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill's off to work.
Mr. Graff,
say hello to the family there down there in Kentucky. Be safe. Robert, thanks for joining us tonight. He says he's peace out. I get it. It's late for a lot of folks, but that's okay. We'll stick with the first round here for a little while
on the East Coast.
So to answer Ryan's
on the good
question
coast, it's not that late. It's still daylight outside.
Well, the Scarps. What do you think of this? Because you didn't want a corner. You wanted a guy on the line.
Yeah. I am happier than a pig in shit right now.
Love it. Love it.
Also,
I was talking about earlier.
Brandon Ayuk.
When I said earlier, I was like, I'm going to steal a page from the Ryan Scarpino playbook here and say we should take Fautanu. And then you were like, oh, I wasn't listening. What'd you say? And I wasn't going to fucking repeat it.
I listened to you. Well, you did repeat it eventually, Ben. So I win. But the point is, here's the point. I appreciate that that they could have taken Fautanu, they could have taken Barton, they could have taken Mitchell or Arnold, and they wouldn't have reached. And that's all I cared about. They let it unfold.
To their board.
They let it unfold. They stuck to their board.
Took the best player available.
And I'm just gonna say this. We got the best hospitals in the world in Pittsburgh, PA, that are affiliated. And those folks are affiliated with the Steelers. So they did their medical check. So I'm just very excited. I've always been a big fan of the trenches, both offense and defense. And I don't care whether it's Jim Jones or Russell Wilson or David Koresh or Justin Fields, whatever cult leaders at the helm. But I will say this.
Dolphins
is Janet Reno going to show up too?
The Eagles are on the clock.
So I would just say, I'm 2 straight years, and I was fucking thrilled about the Broderick Jones pick last year, and I am thrilled about this pick.
I'm good with it.
let me ask you guys
having
this.
bookend tackles is a nice thing to have, gentlemen.
Is it possible? And I know the answer. Of course, it's possible. But
Dolphins took Chop Robinson.
any
Holy
chance?
shit. Good for
Any
him.
chance Fautanu
Wow.
stays on the left? Jones goes to the right. Stays on the
No.
right.
That's possible.
No.
I don't think so either.
You know
Ian,
who's
but
who's the loser on this
Dan Moore.
situation with this Dan Moore.
Yeah.
Because the dude only plays left tackle. Like we were talking about last week. He only plays left tackle, and that's really tough. If you can't play both spots, you can't really be a swing tackle.
Does
I mean,
he
they can
possibly
rearrange
become? Does he become a trade bait?
Maybe.
In a
For
move?
what?
I mean, the other question is though, like
A 7?
depending on how the rest of this draft falls, could
Right.
they move Fautanu to center? I mean, they could. I wouldn't love that, but
They could.
I mean, he's got like super plus athleticism for a center. For a tackle, he's a little undersized, but for a center, he would be, if he could snap the ball, would be an incredible athlete for that position.
You mean accurately?
Just if he can snap the ball, period. But yes, he needs.
Yeah,
to
I mean
snap the ball
accurately.
Yeah.
Unlike others.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, but here's the thing. Dan Moore's got 1 year left.
Right.
And I guess they could potentially re-sign him. But
It's a fucking 4th round pick, man. Like,
is that really
We're gonna know by the end of the night tomorrow night.
oof.
I think based on how they
Hey,
select
Zach Frazier in the 2nd round. Watch.
If
Yeah, I would
Fautanu-
not hate that.
Not in the second.
Neither
I
would
wouldn't
I.
hate it.
I'd be fine with
But
it.
What I'm
Zach
saying
Frazier, Zach Frazier or JPJ better, or Barton, that might be better still. In
Now
the
they'll
2nd
do
round.
Scarps. They'll do a presser tonight, right?
Yeah, they'll probably be talking in the
Okay,
next.
so is it possible that
We're
they
gonna tell
half
Fautanu to
hour.
get on a fucking plane right now.
do they declare right away? Hey, we drafted this kid to play.
They're gonna send
center?
Ryan Scarpino out to Moon Township to pick him up.
Fuck
because if we don't draft a center tomorrow in rounds
will-
2 and 3, then I think this kid's going to play center.
I will say
that's kind of where I was going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins is in our chat tonight, and he says it's not impossible.
No, it's
Kirk,
not.
I apologize. They drafted Penix Jr., but here's what I would say. Like, in all due respect to Kendrick Green, that was just not a good pick, and that was not good scouting. And Adrian Clem scouted him, and Adrian Clem is no
Adrian
longer with
Clem
the
loved
organization.
him and
Is
wanted
now
him.
in New
Yes.
England, I believe.
So I just, if he plays center and he's good, I don't care. But
Absolutely.
I would say that like this guy's a good football player,
Yeah, he is.
and they got a new offensive coordinator that hopefully knows what he's doing. They got a position coach in Pat Meyer. He's going into his 3rd year, and that offensive line improved last year. They were effective at running the ball. So, not that the Steelers look at Twitter, but I'm just happy that they stuck to their board, and they took a guy that obviously they believe in, and I saw it earlier. He seemed pretty emotional on the screen. I think that he's going to give. I think this is a guy that's going to be a Steeler for life. I really do. I could see a Broderick Jones being a Steeler for life too, and those are the guys that you win with.
Yes, Ian, Kirk is saying the same thing about the love for Palomalu. I mean, my God, can you imagine the emotions this kid has right now?
And I mean, and to Ryan's point too, like if you grew up idolizing Troy Polamalu and then get to play for the Steelers,
oh my God!
Like we have talked on this show before many times about how the locker room was missing guys that get it. right? Like, and Ryan probably describes it better than I can, but like, you don't have that many guys left that get it. And if you grew up idolizing Troy Polamalu and watching those teams, you're gonna get it. You're gonna understand what it means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah.
Right. To be part of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fucking wide receiver, me first guy.
Yeah, I would like to see George Pickens pull some shit against this guy.
Yeah. I don't think Fautanu goes for that. Shit.
I mean, DJ apparently talked a little shit with Russ with Cam in the room. And Cam is a gigantic human being and the team captain. So
Cam is a big ass dude, and I can picture.
I'm just saying
for the Panthers. So.
I can picture Cam being like, "Listen,
fuck DJ.
I don't got a lot of time left."
Yeah. The story that I always remember back when Hines Ward had a radio show, like people would call in, ask him questions. It was a great show, but Hines once told this story because somebody asked him,
Dragonfire JC.
Dragonfire JC. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So somebody asked Hines one time, like, why do you never wear sleeves even when it's cold? And Hines said, my rookie year, I wore a shirt with sleeves under my jersey, and I came out for warm-ups before a game, and Justin Strelzik, who was an offensive lineman, walked up to me and ripped the sleeves off my shirt and said, "We don't do this here, rookie." And like that story has always stuck with me of like, that's how you pass on like what being a Steeler is all about. Like it's about toughness. It's about doing whatever it takes to win. It's about, team first. And
Justin Strelzik, that dude.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Yeah.
CTE is a horrible thing.
Yeah. Hey, kudos to Aaron. He just sent me over the graphic. I'm going to kick this out on social media here in just a second.
Well, we'll smash that retweet button.
Yeah,
Dan just texted me, and I wish you could hear his text. Maybe I could play it.
Well, you have a microphone on that thing attached to your head.
Notifications. You can hear his text alert the sound. You hear that?
That didn't work. No.
Yeah.
God damn it. That's some fucking bullshit. Hang on.
Some horrible radio right now.
It's Myron Cope.
Is he doing Myron Cope?
Yeah. No, it's not him. It's actually Myron Cope. That's
okay.
That's just a text tone. So yeah, whatever. Sorry, tangent. Got off on something. Drank a little bit. It happens.
Gee, I'm shocked. Yeah.
Let's have some more whiskey and talk about the rest of the first round.
Absolutely.
Yes, I concur. Let's talk. No, so the Eagles are on the clock now, the other team from Pennsylvania. They did not trade up for like the first time in forever.
No, they took Kenyon Mitchell. Motherfucking fuck.
Yeah, we kind of knew they liked him though.
Yeah, that's not. And you know what?
Jaguars are on the clock, and they're going to.
And everybody's going to talk now about.
Yes, they are.
So
they are.
Stood pat.
So they're definitely going to take Terry and Arnold, and when they don't, please rub it in my face. But they traded back from 17, and they could have got Arnold at 17, and they're going to get him here at 23. And they, so. I think once it got to 18 or 19, as much as I wanted the Steelers to trade back, I don't think there was somebody willing to come up because if the Steelers board was good, pretty much everybody else's board behind them was probably good. Right? I mean,
yeah. And the other thing, I agree with you, Ryan, completely. Yeah. And the other thing I think the Steelers had to look at is, and some of these other teams too, right? Like if you said, okay, the drop off or the difference between Quinion Mitchell and Terrion Arnold is not that much, right? Pretty comparable prospects in a lot of boards. Some, different people's boards had
different
them
fits.
1 and 2, right?
Depending on where you're at, different fit, right?
Yes. So, but what I'm saying is the drop off from Troy Fautanu to the next best tackle, probably Tyler Guyton, who's really raw in a project. Like that gap, I think, is bigger than the gap between those top two corners.
Mhm.
So when you're the
Mhm.
Steelers looking at it, you say, okay, if we don't take the best tackle available, the gap between, or if we trade down, right? Let's say if we trade down 3 spots and Fautanu gets taken, the gap between him and the next best tackle is tremendous. Like, it's pretty big. Versus, if the Steelers are looking corner, or someone else, if Jacksonville's looking at corner and they say, hey, Mitchell and Arnold are both still here, we don't think they'll both be gone if we trade down 4 spots, 6
Right.
spots, whatever it is. We'll get one of those 2. The gap is smaller there.
Smash
I
the
suppose.
buttons, by the way, guys. I've posted that both to Facebook and to Twitter. I just got to do it to Instagram. But
Water.
Fautanu, by the way, is at T Fautanu on Twitter. And for those of you that want to follow him, I don't know how active he
Oh
is.
yeah, I'm
but,
gonna have to do that right now.
Yep. So hammer that. But
He's got
yeah,
6,000 followers.
I remember that when I was doing my write up on O lineman. He is a former volleyball player. And I like athletes, man.
He
I
had
love athletes.
65 blocks or some shit as a senior in high school
Yeah,
in volleyball.
dude's freaking phenomenal, man. Look at the size of him.
So he
By
can
the way,
jump.
I just want to say we've got a lot of first-time commenters in the chat tonight. This is amazing. Thank you
Yep.
guys so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for interacting.
Yep.
and
Thank you,
being
Jake,
here.
for stopping by.
Yeah, there's like draft night has an infinite number of places you could listen or watch or whatever. Thank you for joining us, like 4 random dudes drinking whiskey and talking about the Steelers. This is
No,
Thank you
really?
Do we drink on this
Okay.
show? I
Never.
wasn't aware that we.
That's why
sometimes.
drinking whiskey came before talking about the Steelers. The order was important there.
Let's see
Fautanu.
here. No, I don't want to do
No,
that.
I'm very happy with this pick. It's the
I-
more I
I-
think
you know,
about it, the
I
more
agree.
like it.
I'm not at all displeased.
No.
Wow.
I-
I am surprised by the way the draft fell. I did not think he was still going to be there.
what is a pick you would have hated right there?
Frazier would not
Yeah.
have been happy with.
Right.
That's too
There
high.
are definitely guys we could have reached for.
Graham Barton, Barton or Wiggins,
Barton
I would have
been
been like,
okay with kind of Wiggins. Wiggins is a really nice cover corner, and if it depending on what you want to do with your defense, like so, if you want your corners to be better coverage corners, then Wiggins is the right pick. You know where Wiggins would fit in really well? New England. So if he lasts to the second round, it
you're
won't
probably right.
it won't shock me if he goes to New England because they play a coverage defense. And that's where they value coverage, more importantly than physicality. Pittsburgh, you got to be able to cover, but really what they want you to do first is be physical, be a run stopper. So that's the first kind of thing they take into consideration. Is the guy willing to to get in there and do some dirty work? And if he is, okay, well then can he cover too? Okay, great. So it kind of depends on what kind of a scheme you're playing.
Yeah.
Fit is always important.
Yes, it is. It's a good point.
Speaking of those kind of guys, not to go off on a complete tangent, but we have the 51st pick tomorrow. So,
right.
Those kind of guys that we've spent some time on, Andrew Phillips from Kentucky. I don't know if he's a second round guy, might be more of a third round guy.
He's creeping up boards.
He's creeping up.
Yep.
I mean, heck, corners have been so few and far between. Like Kool-Aid McKinstry might still be. If Kool-Aid McKinstry's there at 51,
oh my God,
you kind of have to take him.
Okay,
you have.
Hang on. What if
Terry and Arnold? No. Go ahead. Sorry.
Barton, JPJ, Frazier are all there.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll go first. I'll just say this: if the concussion stories are real about JPJ, then I would go Barton. If not, I would go JPJ.
I'm just saying, if one of the centers is there, it's going to be really hard to go the other direction.
Yeah,
given the need at the position.
Yes, I agree.
Because trying to start Nate Herbig at center, nobody's taking that seriously.
There's no way.
I'm sorry.
No.
I mean, if you go into the year and you don't actually draft a center, then you take James Daniels and you make him a center.
I was just going to ask about that. I was like, could you take Daniels, make him a center, and put Fautanu at guard?
I don't think it's impossible. Daniels has center experience. I mean, we know this.
the look on Ben's face was worth this question alone.
It actually sounds pretty okay. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you'd have to keep Dan Moore at tackle. You'd have to keep Dan Moore at left.
At left tackle.
Yeah. But you'd have Broderick Jones and Fautanu on the right side.
Well, your right side would kick. Buddy, I'm
losing Ben.
Ben's breaking up.
So two things I'm thinking of. It's a little better now. The two things I'm thinking of though is I wouldn't necessarily say Moore would have to, because there's still several rounds of the draft here, and you who knows, maybe you find a right tackle in the third round. I'm just saying. It's not likely, but it's possible. And the other thing is, when is the last time Daniels played center? How long has it been?
A long ass time. But
it's been a while, but he's got
the Bears maybe.
He's got enough experience there that it would make sense to put him there.
Yeah, he's a smart player, great experience. Yeah, I'm just spitballing here.
So the Steelers are already talking. Omar said the Steelers had the chance to move back.
They did.
They said we weren't moving off Troy. Mike Tomlin interrupted to interject. So this is a guy they coveted.
Okay.
And Tomlin said that position aside, he was the highest rated player on our board.
Right.
So
Stuck
I look
to
at
the
that
board.
We want to talk about he got that dog in him. Well, I think like this is a big.
Is it fair to suggest
the tape was just really, really impressive? Tomlin on him. The tape was just really, really impressive. His talents were highlighted by how Washington used him.
Jaguars took Brian Thomas Jr. By the way.
Wow.
Oh,
they were looking for a. They were looking
the Jaguars.
But
the Jaguars.
Tomlin.
Is it fair to just let me throw this out there? Is it fair to say that the old formula that used to exist under Kevin Colbert is maybe changing, because this was not a guy they visited at at the pro day.
Out the new one.
Yeah, and so that kind of blows that out of the water a little bit. And granted, it's just this year, but I don't know. It's just something to think of.
I think a couple things. One is
Ryan wanted to make a point real quick.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Ryan.
No, but Tomlin said he is not a center or guard. He said,
"Oh wow,
he didn't. He wouldn't commit to left or right tackle, but he said he's not a center or guard."
Yeah, Tomlin said that Fautanu will not be kicked inside.
Yeah. So.
Thank goodness, no more Dan Less. Okay.
Yeah, I think Dan Less is less than he.
Ominous Dominus.
Yeah. So all right. So what I was going to say about the formula, quote unquote, of pro day attendance and all that.
Right.
Last year, Tomlin and Omar Khan went to 7 pro days. Mm-hmm. This year they only went to 4. So some of it could have been their schedule. You know, Tomlin's on the competition committee, has to go to the owners' meetings, all that stuff. You know, some of it could have been when I don't remember when Washington's pro day was and if it conflicted with anyone's. But that being said, you know, they sent Pat Meyer to the pro day, so position coach at pro day, and brought him in for a pre-draft visit. So I think those two things alone are pretty good indicators of them having some interest in him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just, you know, we spent so much time sticking to what the formula has been, what the patterns have been.
Yeah.
In terms of the visits, the pro days, all that other stuff. But, George mentions, what did he say? Ryan know how big Troy's hands were?
I do.
I think
know
they're
how big.
9.25,
Hold
9.5.
Troy's hands were 9.5. You're right. Actually, yeah, smaller than most of what. Yeah.
Uh-oh. There we go again with the small hands.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Although I hate to say it, we were told Kenny Pickett had heart.
That's
and
right.
he didn't. So I'm just saying.
All right.
Kenny Pickett had that dog in him. What are you talking about? Until somebody was going to come in and compete with him, and then he didn't.
Yeah. Fautanu has 34.5-inch arms, which is what Dan Moore and Chooks had.
Really?
Yes.
I would have thought Chooks had longer arms than that.
No. So Chooks and Dan Moore both had 34.5, as did Fautanu. Broderick Jones was 34.75, 34 3/4. So
wait.
A fraction longer.
Look Aaron's comment. What is that?
Aaron's trolling Scarps.
I swear if I see parents with an infant, I will lose my shit. Leave them at home, right, Scarps? Scarps, that's actually true. That was really inconsiderate of you. I can't.
Yeah, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking?
That's all. I am. I'm sorry that I brought my 1-year-old.
The public is no place for a child.
You're a horrible parent.
Yeah.
You're a horrible parent and a horrible sports fan.
I mean, the fucking ballpark seats, 38,000.
The Buccos lost because of that decision.
And there was maybe 13,000 in the stands, but I'm the
because
asshole.
The Pirates suck.
You know what's funny about it is I guarantee you the person that said that to me, I know, and it's just
probably do.
But seriously though, my point stands. Like, what a loser! Like, even if I do know you, like, why would you fucking comment under some alias?
Right.
You think it was somebody you know? Seriously?
I guarantee you it was somebody's burner.
Wow.
And then I'm sitting there thinking,
douche.
What a dick.
Oh, I've said this.
That sounds like something Mark would do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've said this. This isn't some Aaron Rodgers conspiracy theory here. I've said this for a long time. Is it my biggest haters on Twitter? I guarantee you are people I used to work with.
Oh, do you know how pathetic that is, though?
I mean, is it any more pathetic when they flat out would text me, stop tweeting?
Well, at least they would.
And then you'd be like, I'm going to tweet some more.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full send right here and rattle off some real truth. And I've never have, but people are just fucking weird. What are we doing, Casey? Because I need a drink.
You're fine. We got
whenever. You should probably open one and drink it.
They're only on pick 24.
Oh, we're not doing
Dallas
until the end.
So we can go as long as we want.
It'd
be just our luck if we drop the show
8
and
o'clock.
The Steelers traded back into the first.
We're 2 hours in.
It is not 8 o'clock.
It's draft night. We go as long as we want to. This is like overtime, but a regular show.
I'll fake my way through tomorrow.
Lions is traded for the Cowboys.
Detroit moved up.
Yeah, Detroit.
No. Yeah, I bet they're taking a corner.
They're gonna take Terry Arnold here.
Yeah, they're taking
my
a corner.
reader says the pick is in, and Dallas chose.
So they're gonna have Brian Branch and Terry and Arnold.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going.
If they do this,
at the top of this. Yep, Terry and Arnold. They took him.
So they got Brian Branch and Terry and Arnold back-to-back drafts.
My Lions buddy down the halls. He's gonna be really excited.
Mark living in Michigan, having people who are Detroit fans shocked. I tell you,
there's only so many Steelers fans. There's a couple in my build. Well, one. Plus, I'm getting text from Steel Son, who
was that the guy? That the guy who asked you if you were a big Steelers fan and then asked you?
No. This guy's much more on the ball.
What was the guy?
The guy that asked me about, you're a Steelers fan. What do you think of Ben Roethlisberger? Or something like that.
Yeah, Roethlisberger's still playing for him? Yeah, okay then. All right. Yeah, huge Steelers fan. Okay.
Yeah, he said, I'm a big Steelers fan, man. What do you think of Roethlisberger?
Yeah.
Rosenberg, was he like a general for the Nazis during the war? I'm like, who the hell's Rosenberg?
Mark, did Steel Sun like this pick?
He does.
Okay.
Although he did just text, Falcons are fucking crazy, man.
All right. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree there.
No, it does not.
No, so shout out to Mark's son,
So
who,
who did the
a
Cowboys
couple years ago stormed into Mark's podcasting room during the draft.
Well, he was bringing a beer, though.
He was so irate that the Steelers drafted one Ken Shane Pickett.
And I'm the asshole.
Right.
Instead of
Well, you are, yeah.
Trent
Just so we're
McDuffie
clear.
from Washington, who turned into a pretty darn good corner.
Right.
So shout out to Mark's son, who was on the ball with that.
Wait. He also said, if you take a quarterback here, the guy you take is Malik Willis.
He
Okay?
did say that.
He did say that.
He did say that.
He did say
And Malik
that.
Willis sucks donkey balls and will be out of the league next year.
So will Kenny Pickett. But the point is,
Kenny Pickett will have a long career as a journeyman backup for a bunch of teams.
Malik might
making
be
a
NFL next year.
making a shit ton of money.
Kenny Pickett will have as many touchdown passes in his career as Mason Rudolph will?
Whoa, that's a good question. I love this.
Before you answer that, I'll give you time to think. The Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell just tried to go for it on 4th down again. and they said, no, let's just take this guy.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Dan.
And I love Dan Campbell.
I do too.
God, dude, I don't know. That's a hard one. Only because for the next couple of years, I think that one Mason Rudolph has got a greater opportunity to play than Kenny Pickett does.
That's a good point.
Is anybody watching the ABC feed?
I just have the ESPN ticker up. I'm not even watching a feed.
I'm watching the ticker.
I can't multitask.
They just showed the Lions. They just showed the Lions war room, and there's a dude in the back. And is it John Dorsey?
It's probably Eminem.
So the Lions took. Who did the Cowboys take? They moved up. Who did they take?
No, the Cowboys.
No, they traded. The Lions picked.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry, I want to trade down for more picks.
So the Cowboys.
He is. So I didn't know that. It's John Dorsey. It is John Dorsey, who's a solid former GM. He's a Lions senior personnel executive.
Yes.
He was in the back.
Cowboys got a 2024 third. The Lions they moved up 5 spots. They got a 7 back. They gave up a 3.
And fucking.
So right now, sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, go.
Terry Arnold.
So right now,
I got
Mason Rudolph has a 6 touchdown lead on Kenny Pickett, 19-13. So not only,
oh God, this is a really hard choice.
Kenny would have to throw 6 more touchdowns than Mason
That's like a whole
over the
season
remainder of their
Kenny Pickett, dude.
Yeah, as a starter, a season as a starter, and he's in Philly as a
whole
backup
year as a starter, and in the next 2 years, he's not playing. So I mean, smart money really should be on Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
So the Lions went up to 24 from 29 and only gave up a 7th rounder next year.
No, they had to give up more than that.
No.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. They gave up 73. My bad.
They gave up a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
And they got a 7 back.
Sorry.
Oh.
But my point. Okay. Sorry. My point is Dallas only got a 7 in return.
No. Dallas got a 3rd.
Oh, no, my bad.
Dallas gave up a 7.
Here's a guy that said too many Topo Chicos.
Dallas gave up their pick. They moved back 5 picks.
I'm reading it wrong.
They gave up a 7, but they got a 3rd back. So Dallas, that's a pretty good pick.
That's a nice move for Dallas.
But I mean, obviously, the Lions really wanted Terry and Arnold. It was what it was.
Yep.
I'm gonna go get some beers and then I'm gonna answer my own question that I asked here.
All right.
Which is what?
About Mason and Kenny.
Oh,
all right.
I thought he was going to answer his question about when will the Brandon Ayuk trade not happen, which was about 20 minutes ago that it did not happen.
Well, but I think it's more likely if something's going to happen, we're going to make some kind of trade on day 2 and it won't be for Ayuk. It'll be more for a Sutton type guy.
I think here's what I'll say. I think moving into day 2, that considering Mike Tomlin said Troy Fautanu is not moving inside, that he's playing tackle in the NFL. Right. They still have a need at center.
Absolutely.
So you've got Graham Barton, you've got JPJ, you've got Zach Frazier.
The Packers took Joe Morgan at 25.
Joe Morgan, the second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds?
No, the guard from Arizona, dude.
Whoa, that is a huge reach.
He was like,
I don't know that he's a huge reach. He's a good player.
Jordan Morgan.
Hey, listen, no.
Jordan
Morgan.
They had him sneaking into the first round for quite a while.
Well, no. Listen, we're at this place now. We're at this spot where
you're right.
Like the players with first round grades are gone. Okay,
that's
all
fair.
those dudes are gone, and so now we're picking from the best of the guys that have second round grades.
Yep.
And Jordan Morgan he's a good player. He's a nice player. He's a guard.
He was a tackle in college, right?
Yes, he was a tackle, and he's way too small to play tackle in the NFL.
I'm moderately surprised that he got taken this high, but
he's really athletic, though.
He is. So
well, I mean, credit the Packers. They got the guy they wanted, and that's.
I mean, they're announcing it as an offensive tackle, but he's not a tackle. He's a guard.
No, I don't think so either.
So to finish my thought about tomorrow, so you've still got the top 3 centers, arguably, if you consider Barton a center, right? You've got JPJ, Barton, and Zach Frazier all available.
Right.
Frazier.
If 2 of those guys go off the board early in the second round, I could see us trying to make a move up in round 2.
I agree.
To try and get the third one.
Tag on one of those third round picks, maybe.
But that said,
a fourth round pick.
Yeah, the fourth round
move up in the second, it'd probably be a fourth round pick.
Depends how far you're moving, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. That said, considering none of them have gone in the first 25 picks, it's entirely possible that all 3 make it to day 2 and Frazier makes it to 50. I don't know if the other 2 will make it to 51, but I could see Frazier making it to 51. And if Frazier's there, I would not hate that pick.
I don't think
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Kenny is a poor man's Nate Peterman.
George coming in strong at the end of the show. This is wonderful.
Somebody
Somebody tweeted what?
I can't remember. It's been a day. Let's get back to Mason Rudolph here. Mason Rudolph is absolutely going to end his NFL career with more touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett.
It'll be so funny. It'll be so funny when he does.
When you look at the situations, I agree.
I bet
Who
you.
knows,
I
man?
bet you,
I mean, honestly,
what's to say Jalen Hurts doesn't go down with an injury in week 1?
No. But I don't think he's going to play in Philly. But let's just say hypothetically, the next team, when Philly doesn't pick up Kenny's 5th-year option and he becomes a free agent and moves on.
Yep.
Let's just say he moves on to some team that has a quarterback who's injury prone and he actually gets to play. Will Kenny actually throw touchdowns?
No.
I don't know.
If Pickett thought Deontay Johnson and George Pickens were pissed off at him for sucking, what the dude? AJ Brown will break him in half, and they just signed him to an extension today. They signed Devontae Smith to an extension. Devontae Smith's small as shit, but he'll break Kenny Pickett in half. Like AJ Brown and like DK Metcalf are like superhuman. Like they'll fucking break him in half. So like No, like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
You know what? My bold prediction, and this is I think Mason will actually start at least half the season this year.
I
And
don't know
think,
about half the season, but I think he's
He'll
going to
have
play some
starts.
games in
I think
Tennessee.
he'll have starts.
I do.
Yeah.
I agree.
and I think I think he's going to do just fine.
Yep.
And he was fine here.
We still need to get Scarps a Mason Rudolph jersey.
Fine, man. Give me that Titans jersey. Pitch
No.
in.
A number
it's got to
two
be a
Pittsburgh.
Steelers Rudolph
It's
jersey.
got to be.
So because Twitter is awful and great at the same time.
Fuck. The Buccaneers took Graham Barton.
Oh, well, okay. That's fine.
That's a good.
right.
That's a good pick by them.
Nice
Yeah.
pick.
At 26,
Yeah.
great value for them.
So Steelers Twitter has unearthed a bunch of old tweets from Troy Fautanu basically rooting on the Steelers, saying like Big Ben's the best, go Steelers, let's win today.
He was probably like 12 at the time.
He was probably 12, but yeah, so yes.
Yeah, and that's what I hate about social media. I'm glad it was positive, but
It was very positive, yes.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the point of, Fautanu being and when they brought him in and interviewed him and he was like, I grew up a Steelers fan.
can you imagine though?
Yeah.
I mean, I still walk through that stadium and I feel like a kid in a candy store. I can't even imagine what that kid would feel like.
Yeah.
Coming in for a visit.
I mean, you walk through the Great Hall and you see you walk past all 6 Super Bowls, and it's like,
Well,
man.
they're copies, but still, it's pretty bad.
Right, but yeah.
And this is maybe my ignorance showing. But
yeah, here's a guy.
No, I'm being like, when you're Polynesian and you're growing up and you're looking for a mentor that's not a family member.
It's a great point.
And it just so happens that one of the greatest safeties in the history of the game, who shares your first name. I don't want to steal Casey, but he shares your first name. By the way, I did Casey on a whim. I did Casey on the fly after we picked.
All right.
But like, I mean, that and I've said this, I've said this throughout my career, because this is all I've ever wanted to do in life, was just be a storyteller. And we're all fucking human beings, and like it's hard not to get like emotionally invested in things that you love. And when these sort of stars align and you grow up, you're looking for that mentor athlete or that idol athlete, and it just so happens that it's Troy Polamalu, and then 21 years after he was drafted here, yes, you get drafted here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
I have no doubt that Troy Polamalu will likely reach out to this kid too.
Hey, Troy, nice name.
By the way, you need any Head and Shoulders shampoo?
Troy's like sounds like Garth from Wade's World. Like,
He does. There is a little bit of that.
I've always done my Troy impression based on Garth. Like, hey, I'd like to get by now. Like,
That's
hey,
fantastic.
Nice name. Your
I
hair's not
hadn't
as
thought
good.
of that.
Your hair's not as good as mine.
Spectacular hair.
But like,
So let's talk about
think
something
it's-
real quick regarding our tackle situation here.
All right.
Did the Steelers add a tackle now in free agency? Add some guy?
Well, I think Moore becomes your swing automatically, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't, because he can't play right tackle.
I mean, do we know he can't play right, or is it just
Yes.
I mean,
That's why they didn't move him last year. That's why
no,
when
I'm not disagreeing
Jones
with you.
came in, they were like, okay, you
Right.
need to play right tackle because
I
our other
I just
guy
think
can't
Jones
play right
is
tackle.
superior athlete, but
Far.
I mean,
But my
yeah,
point is not even about that. It's they have 2 bookend tackles now.
right.
That talent. Do they sign a guy in free agency who can
Right.
be a swing tackle and put more out there as trade bait? Even if you get a
Right.
7 for him, you get something.
Yep. Go ahead, Ryan.
I would just say, man, if they didn't let Mitch Morse leave Pittsburgh with a contract, I would be fucking ecstatic right now. Like you know what I mean? So there still is that center opening. Now we'll see what happens tomorrow, but they say they have faith in the current people.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They're
But
full of shit.
in my opinion,
Jamie, we know Brandon Jones, in your opinion, could not beat Dan Moore.
Brandon
He was
Jones.
also, excuse me, Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
I may have had a few drinks. Broderick
sure?
Jones could not beat Dan Moore, in your opinion. He was also the best offensive tackle on that fucking team.
So
Bar none. Even the
and-
one game that he played on the left side, he was good.
Oh, shit.
So stop with his shit.
in my opinion, I think the tackle position is the most important position on the offensive line. That just you got to protect your franchise quarterback. It's blind side, and on the edges. I'm not saying that the Steelers are ignoring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they're ignoring the interior offensive line, but based on Omar's comments and Tomlin's comments, they got the guy that they wanted because they think he best embodies a Pittsburgh Steeler. And as we talked about earlier, I think that that's something that they've been missing for a long time.
Absolutely.
And, I understand that culture doesn't always necessarily equate to contention, but when you get a guy like that that's locked in and he's an athlete, these types of picks set you up for success for a long time.
Now, you guys, Ben, you brought up the idea of a tackle being brought in, and I'm just looking at some of the available tackles currently in free agency. You've got guys like Charles Leno, Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, Donovan Smith, but I mean, now Bakhtiari's out there too, but he's going to want to start wherever he goes,
As he should.
Yeah. So
I'm talking about like a Joe Haig level tackle. Remember that guy?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, a guy who can come in and can give you some starts because he's got experience, but he's not a stellar athlete.
What about Chris Hubbard?
Chris Hubbard,
hurt.
I see as a right tackle only.
Okay,
that's me.
He's
I don't
been
know
hurt.
about you guys. I mean, being a right tackle only is a really bad position to be in. If you can play right tackle or either one of the guard spots,
right,
you're a guy that teams want to sign.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a right tackle only, either tackle only, like a left tackle only, which is what Dan Moore is really rare. Left tackle only is really, really
it's
rare.
very rare. It is.
And
I agree.
That's kind of what Max Starks was.
Yeah, he did okay on the right side. Wasn't great, but he wasn't
did
great on
okay,
the
but
left side either.
I remember Max saying because he was left-handed,
right,
playing the right side felt like he was trying to cut with scissors with the wrong hand. Like it just felt really weird.
Yeah, no, and I hear what you're saying.
Try to trim your fingernails with your toes.
Yeah.
But playing one tackle position only, if you're a backup player, which frankly, Dan Moore is a backup level talent, makes you easily dispensable. Okay, which is why the Steelers 2 years in a row invested first-round picks in offensive tackles because their tackles sucked. I'll use the phrase again. Sucked donkey balls. Thanks, Dan.
Very popular phrase around here.
Well, and the other thing. Oh, good. Sorry, finish your point.
No, I'm done. That's basically it. I just think that counting on these fuckers that are still there to man either offensive tackle spot
Man, when's
Not
the
great
last
idea.
time? When's the last time 3 Washington Huskies went in the first round of an NFL draft?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
91.
Oh,
Mark on the
Okay.
spot here.
I have no
Serious?
idea. I know Steve Emtman went that year. That's all I know.
You serious, Clark?
yeah. Steve Emtman wasn't didn't do a hell of a lot. The Cardinals have a second
horrible
first
knee
round pick.
injuries.
Oh, Darius Robinson gets in the first round.
Whoa.
I didn't realize that. The Cardinals have a-
He's actually at the draft. He was one of those guys I was like,
Yeah, here's a guy.
He's there.
Here's a guy that's just sitting around not doing anything.
He's from Detroit.
Yeah, actually, I like Darius Robinson.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's a nice player.
Yep. Yeah, Missouri had a good year. I mean, they
So
had
the
several
Bills
guys.
are trading the 28th pick.
To who?
They're moving back.
Wow.
Yeah,
They
For
need
what?
Yeah,
I'm
they're
saying,
moving
like,
back.
I was like, the
They need
Bills
to
can
receive-
take Adonai Mitchell here for
I
nothing.
mean,
they
all
need
it
to
says
receive-
is the Bills are moving back. I don't
They need
understand.
a receiver.
So
Badly.
yeah.
That's pretty fascinating right there.
That's kind. That's not.
One
That's
other
the opposite of what I expected the Bills to do. I thought they'd move
Absolutely.
up.
yeah. One other point to make here to build off of Ben's point about drafting
point?
tackles.
I haven't had any
Dra-
points.
You just made a very good one. Ryan made a very salient point 2 hours and 15 minutes into the show. And then
salient.
yes. All right. So,
listen,
you're
Ian is still pretty sober, just so you guys are clear. Mark,
all right.
questionable. Ben, probably not. Ryan, definitely not. Just saying.
Hey,
So
I'm day to day.
So
All right, everybody's
as you
day-to-day.
listen to
Right.
what we're saying about the draft at this point in the show, take those things into consideration. Ian,
Very much
sober.
so.
Mark, questionable.
Questionable.
Ben, very questionable. Ryan, not sober at all. Not sober. Okay. Go
In
on,
the
Ian.
game of life, we're all questionable. Anyways,
That's
if
right.
someone has listened to 2 hours and 15 minutes of this show, like not live, I commend them.
Right.
At any rate, Ben was talking about how shitty our offensive tackles were, which is true. To build off of that,
Donkey balls.
yes, if you find a good tackle in the draft, you sign him to a second contract and keep him. The good tackles don't hit free agency, right? Basically, the only way to find good tackles is to draft them because the good tackles aren't hitting free agency.
Yeah.
Whereas you can find a
Well, Trent
competent
Williams did. What the
Okay,
fuck
but-
is that
Right.
about?
But my point is, you can find a competent interior lineman, a guard or center in free agency, and sign them for probably half of what it would cost you to sign a tackle.
That's true.
So drafting a tackle not only saves you money if you get a good one, but also gets you one in-house that you can then re-sign and keep in-house for their career. Whereas, like you can find interior linemen in free agency, you can find them in later rounds of the draft. Tackles, you pretty much have to find them either in the first round. I
So
wrote
who
an
are the
article on
Chiefs
this last
picking?
year.
Who are the Chiefs picking?
It's got to be a wide receiver.
So the Chiefs
I-
moved up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Chiefs
they
traded up
moved
with
up
the
with
Bills.
the Bills.
I don't
Yeah.
understand why the Bills moved back, but it's
Unless
fine,
they got a
whatever.
good return from Kansas City. I don't know.
I mean, both teams need wide
So
receivers.
Chiefs trade up. Buffalo's trades round 1 plus round 4 plus a 7. Kansas City gives them a 1, a 3,
Buffalo didn't have a 3. That's why.
a 1, a 3, and a 7 back.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
all it's just like so they got this is kind of weird.
Buffalo gets into the.
They
third round
moved
like they
up
weren't
from the
before.
4th to the 3rd, right? So they sent a 4th to the Bills. Sorry, I'm hammered. Listen, 1 and a 4 and a 7.
Now, here's a guy who can't do
Back
math.
on a 3 and a 7.
Here's a guy that's
So
lagging.
they moved.
I can't hear anything you just said, but
Nor I.
No.
You sound like T-Pain right now.
Oh, what a reference. Oh, man.
All right.
I'm sorry.
We're having a good night.
Oh shit!
I'm kind of
Man, you're
buzzed.
like,
Anyway, they didn't get they
You're like-
they moved up from a 4 to a 3. So what?
You're like 2G right now.
So listen,
The Chiefs took
The
Xavier
Chiefs- the
Worthy
Chiefs are
from
taking
Texas,
Xavier-
too.
No, that's you know what? That should not be surprising. They love
Can you hear me or
speed.
no?
Yeah, he ran like a
No?
4.25.
Yeah. What's the old saying? He could turn the light off and be in bed before it goes dark. I mean, that's how fast that kid is.
Sounds
Holy
like my
cow.
Saturdays in college. Hey, yo. God,
Ben
so they
cannot
got-
hold this. Oh, Jamie's coming back at him.
They have.
You guys that are still with us in the chat, you're amazing.
Yeah.
2.5 hours. You people
They
are
still have-
insane.
So they still have Kelsey, who's not as good as he used to be. But
Nah,
obviously
this
in
is
the
going to be it for him.
in the
I think it's his last
postseason.
year.
postseason, he turned it up. But
He does.
they got Hollywood Brown now. They got Worthy. Did they still have Valdez Scantling?
I think so.
All right. They got Rasheed Rice as long as he doesn't go to jail.
Correct.
I mean,
They'll be
God
fine,
damn, man.
Andy Reid is just like
The new fucking Patriots are the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead, Ryan. Finish.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so before we do Casey at some point, we are doing a show tomorrow night. Apparently.
I've got it kind of blocked off to come on at 7-ish. I mean, if it's just me for a little while, that's fine. I don't mind.
All right, it might be. I'll be on after my kids go to bed, but yeah,
Okay.
it might be you for a while.
Okay. So what I'll do is in the second round, it goes down to what, 5 minutes between picks?
I thought it was 7 in the second, 5 in the third.
7 and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So I might wait till like 7:15, 7:30, something like that, and then kind of go from there. Yeah, because it'll move pretty quick, and it'll be fun conversation again, of course. But so that's the plan.
I might not be on till like 8:30 or 9. So just letting you know.
No worries. No
Okay.
worries. No worries.
I will
Right?
not be on tomorrow. Not that matters, but
All good.
saying.
You're going over to the.
Casey?
Are you going over to the PNC Park to watch the Buccos?
No, I need to spend time with the fam. I've been out of commission a couple times.
You're a
this
good
week.
man, Charlie Brown. You're a good man.
Yeah, fucking CB. Where's Benjamin?
I don't
So
know.
we
I
can-
was going to suggest go ahead and do Casey.
He's here.
Ben's taking the longest piss ever.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Ben ran to the porcelain podium.
Jamie's
stopped
coming in
at
so strong.
I stopped at the fridge along the way and had a little snack.
Good for you, sir.
Kind of hungry.
I'm very curious to hear tonight's on the fly Casey Queso.
So we and we still got some picks, so we'll do it now.
we do.
Yeah, Casey's Coast to Coast, American Top 40. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the week that was April 25th, 1984. Our favorite correspondent, Ryan, is back with us this week, and he writes, Dear Casey, the time has finally come. The 2024 NFL Draft is underway. Hopefully, we can get a break from everyone's terrible mock drafts. What's that, Casey? What's that, Casey? You don't enjoy Kenny Pickett 6969 on Twitter's hypothetical situation where the Steelers' 6th-round picks go to the Patriots for the number 3 overall? I don't know what I'll do when I log on to the Bird app and there aren't any more mock drafts. I guess I'll have to settle for nudes in bio. Casey? I'm sure you've heard by now that the Steelers hold the 20th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The last time they held the 20th pick was in 2022 when they selected quarterback Kenny Pickett. Casey, I know I've said this many times, but I'm not quite sure you know that Kenny Pickett played football at the University of Pittsburgh, which shares a facility with the Steelers. And they traded Pickett to the Eagles 1 month ago for a couple deflated footballs and some tough acting tenactin. God damn. Steal that. That laugh caught me.
My bad.
You're good. So, Casey, you can understand why I'm a little nervous about having the 20th overall pick. But, Casey, the pick is in, and the Steelers have chosen Troy Polamalu. Excuse me, Troy Fautanu. I don't want to put any pressure on the kid, but when your first name is Troy, you were a first-round pick of the Steelers, and your last name ends with rhyming with Alu, well, let's just say I expect a lot from you, my sweet Polynesian prince with that sweet tribal tattoo on your right forearm. Casey, I texted Troy Polamalu as soon as I saw the Steelers pick come in. To my surprise, I got immediate reply back with, and a new phone, who dis? Casey, I'm not going to lie. I'm happier than Russell Wilson taking notes on the Hail Bob Comet Kool-Aid. I'm more excited than George Pickens when he sent a picture of his peaches to Miss Trubisky. I'm more thrilled than Mike Tomlin when a fellow head coach drops a "it wouldn't be prudent, quite frankly," in a casual conversation at the owners' meetings. Casey, I haven't been this happy for the longest time. Well, Ryan, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Up 4 spots this week to number 21. Here's the piano man himself, Billy Joel, with The Longest Time.
For the longest time.
Strictly 80s, Joel.
You know, it's not just the tough acting, tenactin. It was the boom that accompanied it. that was
so
really
good.
spot on.
Oh, man.
Boom, tough acting, tenactin.
Did you seriously fucking text Troy when that happened?
No.
Ben.
I'm just saying.
Although, you know damn well,
I might
would
believe that.
if Scarps had texted Troy would have returned his text message.
I know.
Troy's
a nice
Troy
person.
is. Yes.
Troy just had like a charity flag football event at Heinz Field, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Troy is fucking one of the greatest humans.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow night. I don't see the Steelers trading up into the first round again, so we're just going to go ahead and get out of here.
Really?
It's only been 2 hours and 30 minutes, and my ass hurts. I need to stand up.
Hold on, we got to see who Baltimore picks, so we know who we have to hate forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we can wait for that.
All right. The Cowboys took Tyler Guyton, the tackle from Oklahoma,
and again, he's boomer bust.
Yeah, very boomer bust.
Yeah, Claude, thank you so much, Claude. You're a class act.
I am sick. I'm not gonna lie.
We're all.
What are you sick of?
But,
Claude, I applaud you for being able to drive and listen to our show. Because
that right there might be one of those like world records.
I don't know how you wouldn't veer off the road.
It's a very good
I would. Yeah, absolutely.
So good point by Chris Adamski on Twitter.
Yeah.
Troy Fautanu is actually older than Broderick Jones right now.
Wow.
Fautanu?
Yeah.
Fatanu.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fautanu.
Troy.
Let's ask him how you
Troy
pronounce his name.
So Broderick Jones is still the youngest on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when you look at overall what their options were, I think they made the best pick.
They made a pick for a guy they had rated very highly.
Yeah,
so
and that's yep.
I'm not disappointed in this.
No, if they had a guy rated that high, and that's fine.
You know,
Basically, they had a chance to trade back, but when the Rams, who were in front of them, didn't take Fautanu, they went, okay, yeah, we're staying here.
Yeah.
So this is also a valid point based on what just happened in the draft. So I'm just going to read this tweet to you.
Oh boy.
In 2017, the Bills traded the Chiefs the pick that gave them Patrick Mahomes. 7 years and 3 Super Bowls later, the Bills traded the Chiefs another pick that let them take a wide receiver that ran a 4.21 40-yard dash. So, I mean, not the same, obviously,
No,
but considering you're in the same conference and you're competing to go to the Super Bowl, like, it's a fair point that Buffalo traded the pick to Kansas City that gave them Patrick Mahomes.
The Ravens took Nate Wiggins. Motherfucking fuck.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, they were going to get a good player there.
What was the return on that Bills trade with the Chiefs?
Basically, they moved up from a 4th to a 3rd. That's it.
Well,
it's a bunch of pick swaps.
Yeah.
They got they gave up they gave up their first, a 4th and a 7th for a 1st, a 3rd, and a 7th.
I don't know. I'm just surprised Buffalo must not have had any interest in Worthy or any other receiver at 28.
Considering they traded Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis left, right?
Yeah, like, they need receivers.
Yeah, what does Buffalo do? I mean, Buffalo could still take Adonai Mitchell here, which would be a really good pick. But,
yeah.
You know,
but is Adonai and Mitchell going to go in the first round? A lot of teams taking him off their board.
He's got some character concerns.
People are going to look at that. Well, the long and the short of that is he has diabetes, and apparently when his blood sugar is super low, he's an asshole.
Right.
Yes.
As most people are.
Deal with.
He's really bad.
And so he doesn't acknowledge that as a problem. He just says whatever, and that's his thing. So that's where the behavior issues come from, if you will. So, you know, could it be a rat? I don't know. I don't know. Shit.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. It's 2.5 hours of us, and thank you so much to everybody who's been with us.
Thank you all for hanging out while we drink.
You guys are the best. Whether you've listened on your own time or you were here live with us, thanks so much. We appreciate it. We love it.
Thank you.
We love what we do here. So check it out. We'll have something up on the website tomorrow morning.
It's 11:30 where you guys are, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Why do you guys need to go to bed now? Why can't we just stay up?
We'll be back tomorrow night for rounds 2 and 3. Have a great night, everybody. And hey, go Steelers.
Ravens still suck.
Yes, they do.